Okay, there we go. I'm ready to mute it in about 7 seconds. Hello, everybody. Welcome to December live news. That is the mute button. Lovely. Couple of people in chat waiting for us. We had a couple of connection issues, but we're going now. So you've got, as you can see, myself, Scott, and an Azov has joined us as well.
Azov cam is on.
Random is unable to join us. Mark may or may not come into chat from work. I don't know. But just the two of us for a monthly catch-up and some news. So, what have we been up to? So, quite a bit of movie stuff, quite a bit of game stuff, not too much TV stuff. So, movies, maybe first of all. Watched an old classic. This time of year, you know, the TV stations tend to run them. Not that I watch live TV, but we always sort of draw up a short list of some classic movies we either A, want to watch again, or B, have never seen. So, Fantastic Voyage was one from the 60s. If you've seen Inner Space, it's the kind of original of that, Inner Space.
Oh, that's the one where they shrink down
the
submarine and it's all like the sets are pretty cool the way they go around inside the body. Yeah, that used to be on like almost daily back in the day, as they call it.
Yeah.
So I've seen that movie more times than I care to think.
Yeah, there's even a line in there that I can't remember the exact line, but it does use the words inner space, hence the remake called Inner Space. But watch the original. It's way better. And has Raquel Welch in a tight outfit. So watch that. I finally got around to watching Becoming Led Zeppelin. I thought that was a good film. Some new stuff in there I didn't know before. You don't often hear the voice of John Bonham either, so it was good to have him in there. And kind of watching, Plant and Page and Jones's reaction to his voice and his old interviews was interesting. So, yeah, recommend that.
What's interesting is how much more. Because I was never like. I've always liked Led Zeppelin. I mean, like, I literally think since the first time I heard, rock and roll, I was like, oh, these guys are fucking great, And, growing up, they were a mainstay of the 80s, they were known as, like, the guys that created what we had, And loved Led Zeppelin. But I was never, like, a massive Led Zeppelin fan in the sense that I never went beyond their music. I never really, read into the lore, the legend, or, I just didn't. So I didn't know a whole lot about them. And what was kind of surprising is how I always thought Led Zeppelin was more of like an organic kind of formation of a band. That was almost like putting together a boy band in the 90s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I'm saying it was a very scripted, organized creation of a band,
Yeah, and it's not like they were sort of university students or hoodlums who just hung out together and toured in a van, man. No, they were already session musicians working on other projects and kind of got pushed together and ended up, in a band. It was good. Watched the first two Hobbits. All right. I do like Lord of the Rings. The Hobbit is just dragged out nonsense, so not overly fond of those. We may or may not do the third one before Christmas. I don't know. Watch the new Frankenstein. I do like the story, and it is well done. I just love the original 30s one. I don't think you can beat that. But I think it was quite faithful to the story.
There's been 37 Frankenstein movies. Which one of the Frankensteins?
Oh, the 1930 odd, the original Boris Karloff. I know
Okay.
there's millions of them, but yeah, the original Boris Karloff. So watch that. Yeah, it was quite faithful to the story and reasonably well done. Predator Badlands. I think it sucked, but it's.
I fell asleep, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah, could have gone either way. It's like watching someone play Shadow of the Colossus. So you've got these predators, and their thing is they have to go out into the universe and prove themselves the toughest warriors in the universe. That's the premise. So they go to these planets where there's just death all around at every turn. And
like
can
Troy.
they survive? Yeah, kind of like Detroit. And yeah, there's this creature in there, and it's just like watching someone play Shadow of the Colossus. So a little bit sucky, bit long in the tooth now. The Predator series, I think, but yeah. We are saving Wake Up Dead Man, which is the new Knives Out movie, for Friday. My middle daughter's back from the US on Friday, and she likes that kind of stuff, so we're going to watch that with her. Get some takeout food, have a movie night. Fackham Hall, it's on at the theatres, and we went for probably the second time this year to the theatre to watch it. Great film. That's the comedy written partly by Jimmy Carr. He's in it. He plays the priest. It's funny, stupid, funny humour. Not, some of the jokes are almost like airplane level stupid, but they're not as fast flowing. The jokes are a little further apart, but definitely a great, funny movie. Some laugh out loud moments in it. Definitely worth a watch, but it's only on in theatres at the moment. And finally, 8-Bit Christmas. I watched it at the museum the other night. I think I'll probably watch it again. I've kind of talked Paula into it. It's not a video game movie, so we may watch that again. Stranger Things is back, season 5. I've not watched any of it yet. I went back to season 3 and 4, rewatched those. Season 3 is great. 4, not so much, but I believe 5 is very good, but haven't started it yet. I'm almost done with 4, so I will get to that at some point. I mentioned in the top 10, we went to Arcade Club this last week, the volunteers from the Computer Museum. And I was just walking around looking at the different games, and I mentioned in the top 10 how they attract you and, part you from your money ahead of all the other games. And, I talked about Mappy and with its double marquee, and Dragon's Lair just being really shouty, and just the way some of the attract modes, the colour vectors and things like that. It's interesting just walking around the place, having 5 minutes, just walk around the floor before you play a game, just look at all the different machines. It's great. Played a few things. I won't talk about everything I played, but they've got a working Quantum, so that was good. Had a go on Quantum. One I'd never really played too much before, Major Havoc. Couldn't decide if I liked it before. I decided now I pretty much don't. Clever idea, just don't think it really works that well. The T2 machine that you've got, Scott, I didn't know they did that in a sit-down. So they've got a sit-down version there, 2-player sit-down cab. Probably a bigger screen than the one you've got. You sat a bit further away from it, but that's never seen that cab before, so I had to go on that. They've got a great... it's kind of almost similar to Ice Cold Beer, but it's called Fire Escape. And, I had a picture of the company who made it. Let me just see if I can pull that up quickly. So you start with like a series of ramps in the middle in a V shape, and you turn a tap at the bottom, and the ramps move up and down. So you've got to get the ball sort of to roll to the end of the ramp and drop down a level without dropping all the way down, if you see what I mean. It's a lot of momentum. When was it? 1984 Megatronic Games. I have a picture. I can post that in the show notes. Good game, really tough, but good fun. If you like Ice Cold Beer, I think you'll like that. Played a lot of pins. They have an adult room now. It's not what you think, though. It's just games they don't want the kids, swinging on and things like that. So all the pins are in there, and some of the more delicate stuff, shall we say. So played a lot of Scared Stiff. I played that quite a lot anyway. I do like that game. Twilight Zone is one I've always really wanted to like, because I love the show. Really, really good show. One of my favourites. Never really got into the game. And I've decided that you can't just walk up to Twilight Zone and within a couple of minutes, understand it. There is so much going on. You've really got to get a ball to last, a good few minutes before you even start to unlock anything. So I like it a bit more than I did. It's still, I don't know, half the rules, half the table almost. It's really, really busy table. Addams Family, still not fussed on. Played that quite a bit. Whitewater I played more than I've ever played it before. And I know who was it who was telling me it's their favourite pin, and I just never really got along with it. I do like it a bit better now. And what helped with it being it was Thursday night, Arcade Club was reasonably quiet, so I could get extended time on some of these games. Like most of the times I play pinball, the odd trip to Arcade Club, but it's usually at Expo, and there's a queue of people behind you, and you can't hear them properly. But this was a different experience. Played Game of Thrones, boring as hell. Godzilla, which is the one that Mark says would be his next purchase. I just thought it was okay. Nothing really jumped out at me and said, it's a great game or got to buy it or whatever. I just thought it was reasonably average. Some good shots on there, but didn't really do much for me. Played the new Iron Maiden. I do like that. Only really played that a couple of times before, I think, but got to like that quite a bit. X-Files was one. Now, it wasn't working properly. The DMD was out, and half the playfield, I don't know if you know the game at all, Scott, but like the top half of the playfield is just really dark. And I don't know if it was a fault with the game, and that's the idea. It's dark and mysterious, and you've got to light it up and open things up. I don't know. But I couldn't see the fucking thing. Steam Deck-wise, so I mentioned, I think last month I've been playing the remastered versions of Tomb Raider 1 to 3 and 4 to 6. I've been going through the DLC, like 4 full Tomb Raider levels on each game, so that's like 20-odd new levels I've never played. Plus Angel of Darkness, I'm going to give that a bash as well. So I'm playing through those at the moment, just really enjoying those, taking me back to, the first time I played Tomb Raider, exploring new levels and just finding out what the hell you have to do. Hogwarts Legacy is one that's been on the radar for a while. Heard mixed things about it, but it's always kind of interested me. And it's free at the moment on Epic Store, so I picked it up for free. So I can't say fairer than that. I've installed it, run through the first little bit, but I've gone back to Tomb Raider. So I will get to play that at some point. So grab it. It's free if you want it. And finally, I can't remember if this is a news story, but there was a great discussion in our Discord, and I think a few of us went over to, it might have been in WhatsApp as well, a few of us went back to Atari Age for the first time in a while, because a certain Mr. Kennedy reared his head quite recently, discussing the Chameleon and the Amico and things, and someone came out with a great phrase in there, and it was, Chameleon plus money equals Amico, and I just thought that summed up the whole thing really well. So that was an amusing distraction this month. And that, I think, is just about me for the month. Ready for Christmas, obviously, preparing for that. 4 grandchildren on the scene now, so Christmas getting ever busier and what have you. Changing slightly every year, it's now about the young people again rather than the reasonably young people. So interesting dynamic changes each Christmas now. But yeah, looking forward to some time off and some festive family fun. And that is me. And I'm hoping Scott's microphone didn't break again. Oh, maybe it did because he's ringing me. Hello? 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 I don't hear you on the phone either now. Are you there? I think we've lost him again. He had some microphone issues when we were getting going, and I think they may have returned. Hello again. Yes. I can still see your camera, but it might have frozen. But I can't hear you at all on that. Let's see. I'll give it a go. Another microphone. Have you another microphone? Let's turn that off. That's fine. Have you got another microphone? Might be worth a try. Welcome to live news. It wouldn't be live news without a tech issue, says Phoenix Z80. You might be right there. You might be right. All right. I'll amuse the troops. Here. Hey ho. So, yes, that was my month. Did I have anything else of note to tell you? There is something happening. I can't remember if we'd mentioned it before on the show or not. But maybe Scott should be here for when we do tell you, if you didn't already know. I can't remember if we said it before. But it's no big secret. But I will wait anyway. That's how kind I am. We have got... Let's have a look. Let me change the animated GIF. And it is a GIF. It's not a GIF. It's a GIF. How many news items have we got this month? 47, I do believe. Some duplicates. Who are the big hitters this month? I can see Peter Gibbs. I can see Gareth Hamer. I can see Random Dave. I can see... Who else? Alan Hedgerus is there. Peter Gibbs with a few, it looks like, this month. Random Dave's been busy as well. Or not busy, that's why he's sending news. Yeah. So that one is an old one. I might just get rid of that. Maybe I should have got rid of that last month. I can't remember. Commodore says Commodore can't make a new Commodore. That's what that one was. Sent in by Random Dave. Silly question. If Scott is rebooting, why has he not left the video call? Why does the call think he's still there? I didn't get an Intellivision Sprint. No. Did you get one? When are they expected? Are they out now? Or is it a pre-order? I can't remember. I'd ordered the Vectrex Mini. Didn't go for anything crazy like the 2-pack or the additional controllers or anything like that. I just stuck with this single unit order. Can I kick him? Because it thinks he's still there. And if he's rebooted, he shouldn't be. Can I kick him in director mode? Maybe. I have got a reconnect mic button at my end for his microphone, which is interesting. Let's see what happens. What else? Oh yeah, I could maybe have a look at this while we're waiting. I got an email just before we started about a Kickstarter, Control AI Delete, the Jason Bradbury Kickstarter for the movie. The latest update has landed. What did he say? With the big holiday just over a week away, the year is drawing to a close, and I wanted to get out in front with an end of 2025 update from the edit. Please read on. Oh, as the last paragraph and is an important one. I want all of you to see it. So let's go down to the last paragraph and see. Is he just teasing us? Or is it really important? Yeah. Is it groundbreaking? I don't think it's that groundbreaking. So yeah, that was that update. Cool story, bro. What else happened? Oh, so I bought some Dutch Barn vodka. That's the one that Ricky Gervais is doing. Don't sign up to the mailing list because you get about 5 emails a day, every day, just sending you pure crap. And I did order some, and then I got loads more emails. So I just turned off the emails, man. Leave me alone. If I like the vodka, I'll buy some more. If I don't, I won't. You're a funny man, but stop sending me emails. Just, wow, too many emails. How many emails is too many emails? That many emails. Well, he's gone from the call now, and he's coming back. Can we hear him?
Mike, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can hear you. More to the point, I think everyone else can.
Well, great. You said a funny thing. Laptop. I'm not using my laptop. So instead of rebooting this a second time, I turned around and used this. But unfortunately, it confirmed something. I think they pushed out a new update of VDO in Linux, and it ain't good. Because on my laptop, it will not connect to the camera through VDO. It will connect to the headset, the same headset that would not connect in on my other machine. And I literally have you in a window right now with a message saying unable to connect. So it seems we're connected. You can still hear me?
I can still hear you.
Okay, good. So that's that. Well, I'm going to stay on the on this for the audio and then use my other PC. But yeah, something has been changed in VDO because the behavior is consistent across multiple machines. So.
Right. Okay.
Thanks, VDO.
Cheers, guys.
Good one for the holidays.
So anyway, I'd finished. I don't know if you had any comments on anything I said.
Well, unfortunately, I didn't hear a giant percentage of what you said. I'm also desperately trying to adjust my volume here. Say something pretty, Michael.
Pretty Michael. That would be
Okay.
Pretty Michael.
That's disturbing, but good. All right. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to live with that. So,
So I was talking about games I played at Arcade Club and movies, and we'd done TV. I think you were still there for that. The T2. I thought you might have come back on that, and maybe you did. I just didn't hear it. The T2 arcade game you've got, the shooter. They've got a sit-down version at Arcade Club. I didn't know there was a sit-down version.
I've not seen one in person. Yeah, you were talking about the adults room and all that. That kind of makes sense in a way, but even then, adults can be fucking stupid. I think that's why I would never be able to open up a barcade for many reasons. But I don't think I can live with the machines being exposed to public, touching, shall we say.
Yeah, and I was thinking this last week, while I was there, you know, what you've talked about on the show before, buying a pinball, put it on location, when it's paid for itself, you got a free pinball.
It works.
But I was at Arcade Club, and yeah, you know, they'll get more than an average hammering, but I mean, it's still public and people who care about video games for the most part, and some of them just need a lot of attention, like sticky flippers and ball getting stuck in places, and the ice cold beer was terribly adjusted, just like all the adjustments were wrong on it. Like you had to really tip up the bar one way quite steeply for the ball to even start rolling, and then it just shot down the thing. It was unplayable. So I thought, maybe I don't want to spend 10 grand on a pinball and have the public thrash it. I mean, not in an arcade club or a bar. I mean, maybe somewhere, you know, a bit more controlled. Okay, fair enough, but certainly not somewhere like that.
Yeah, unfortunately, right now I'm dealing with one last struggle. For whatever reason, in VDO, it's suppressed your audio where I can literally, I have it maxed out, over amplification, everything, and then I can slide it from max sound all the way down to quiet, and your audio does not change through VDO at all. So VDO has found a way to completely ignore the system audio settings and play at one volume that it sounds about like Michael whispering to me on the other side of a pillow. So, all right, we're just going to drive on, and we will handle this later. So,
if not like gentlemen, like something else.
Yeah, that ain't going to happen.
Yeah, I'm just looking if there's anything. I don't think there's anything I can adjust my end for your audio. I do have some controls. Let's have a look at the audio controls. Audio setting.
I wouldn't worry about it, Mike. I can hear you enough to drive on, and we'll have to figure out what VDO has did, or hopefully how to regress, or they issue an apology and fix this.
It. Yeah.
Post haste.
Let's hope so.
Mike, I apologize. I wish I had heard more of everything you said there. Now, I did hear you were saying you watched Predator Badlands.
Yes.
So I tried, and I have not been, I have not seen a cam copy of anything in forever, and they've gotten a little better. I mean, I just wait for the digital, a good clean copy to get out, but it wasn't labeled explicitly as a cam, so I didn't know it was. I thought, oh, Predator Badlands is out, so I downloaded that, and it was about, I don't know, maybe about a minute in, and I realized, wait, there's a giant sync issue here between the sound and the video. Oh shit, this is a cam shot. And I realized, nope, no, okay. Oh look, and here come the Russian subtitles. All right, I'm out. So I'll probably catch it, somewhat soon, but not looking amazing. Honestly, look, the first Predator was amazing. That was that was a hell of a movie at the time. Massive hit, just
Yeah.
couldn't have been done better. And then Predator 2 came out, and I was like, what the fuck is this? I mean, it was just such a taper off, such a poor follow on to a massive hit. And I mean, Danny Glover looked like he was drunk or bored during the whole thing, and like, imagine an action star with zero pizzazz. You know, I mean, it was just it was not good. So I hear that you watched 8-Bit Christmas. Was that the first time you watched it, or?
No, I've seen it quite a few times. I've watched it the year it came out, maybe once or twice. I've watched it every year. I watched it this last week at the museum, and I think I've talked Paula into giving it a try. You know, saying it's not a video game movie; it's a cool Christmas movie. So I think we may watch it again, maybe this coming week. But yeah, it's a good movie. I like it. Just an easygoing,
really
fun
isn't.
Christmas film.
Yeah, it really isn't a video game movie. And the thing is, like, obviously for me, I, you know, and like any of us, the attraction is initially, oh, it's a movie about video games. Well, you know, there's a certain number of shows set in the 80s, and most of them I just can't stand. Like Stranger Things, I like the idea of it. I watched it, and I was just so unimpressed and so bored to tears and just not at all interested. And so, you know, the 8-Bit Christmas came out, and I thought, man, this is hopefully it delivers. You know, hopefully it doesn't fall on its face. And the first time I sat down and watched it, I got to the end of the movie, and I was amazed by a couple of things, right? Even though this is filmed at peak woke, right? Now, the book, which fucked up this video update, is not making me very happy right now, Michael, because I was going to hold up for the camera my copy of 8-Bit Christmas, the book. And I can't do that. So, yeah, the book came out in 2013. Now, I never heard about the book. I never knew the book was a thing. And it wasn't until I actually saw the movie that I thought, oh, the book okay. So I jumped on it and ordered it, and it's by a guy, Kevin. Oh boy, this is worse than a Japanese name. It's Polish. Kevin Jakubowski. Okay, I believe it. So turns out the guy is a comedy writer that's done a lot of television I like. Like he did Brickleberry. Did you ever see that?
Don't think so.
Oh my God, dude! You got to see Brickleberry. It's a very odd series. It takes place like in this public park in America, like a national park, right? Like think Yogi Bear stuff, you know, forest trees, you know, expansive outdoors. And it's this group of degenerate park rangers, right? And it's just damn good. It's hard to explain how good it is. But I didn't, you know, I was like, oh, this guy's got a great fucking sense of humor. He wrote Brickleberry, right? And so I was just absolutely blown away by the movie. It was an instant classic. For years, I would say my top 3 were maybe, you know, Christmas Vacation, Bad Santa is always classic. I watched that the other night. Home Alone 2, you know. And 8-Bit Christmas went right to the number 1 slot right quick, and absolutely loved it. I got the book. The book is great. It's actually, they did just such a perfect job. And if you look at it, Kevin Jakubowski is also the executive producer and one of the producers, because the guy had a history in television as well as being an author. So he was able to do, you know, he had a firm hand in bringing his book into life as a movie. And that's why it was so spot on. And, you know, it's funny for a film that was done at peak woke, right? And there was just a fucking mandate. If you're going to do a film, it's going to have the following content in it, right? And it was just brutal how much they were pushing that woke shit. And I have to say, there's like a 10-second throwaway scene where they're sitting in the living room and he's explaining how his mom sent him to school wearing girls' boots, right?
Yeah.
And his daughter, it's the main character as an adult, is telling his daughter the story of how he got his first Nintendo. And he's explaining how one day he got sent to school with girls' boots, and she has to like try and pretend that she doesn't know what girls' sizes are. Or go like, what do you mean girls' boots? They only fit girls? They're a different size? It's like, yeah, you've heard of this before in your life. Don't pretend like it doesn't exist. But it was so disingenuous. But it's 10 seconds. 10 seconds, right? And for just, for when the movie came out, for 10 seconds to be, you can put that aside, and the entire rest of the movie is straight out of the somewhere in the 60s to 90s era of the U.S., It's just a pure, honest, wholesome Christmas movie that can do no wrong. It's just so perfectly done. Now, when I first watched the movie the first time, got to the end of it, and the closing scene, and the movie's been out for years. There's no spoilers, but just in case any of our listeners somehow still have not seen that movie, I'm not going to spoil the ending. But guys, if you haven't seen this movie, what the hell are you doing? I mean, come on, you listen to this show, you gotta watch that movie. But the end of the movie happens, and it's the closing bit, and the music comes up, and the credits are rolling, and I said to myself, "Oh, did he get the Nintendo?" And you don't even realize, oh, that wasn't the main point of the movie at all. And you're cool with that, it was just so beautifully done that the thing that even you personally were invested in being the point of the movie, that's not the point of the movie, and you're totally cool with it. It couldn't have been better. So, I absolutely loved it. I've watched it again a couple times this year, but for myself, and I think I'm going to watch it again here in a couple days, and then I let it rest for the year, kind of like most of the Christmas movies, So, the shit I've been up to, getting ready for Christmas, man. So, I got the Christmas layout for the train. I finally got that kind of right where I want it. I posted a couple pictures over in our Discord. You can pop in there and see that. I've got all sorts of neat stores. Like I got a Toys R Us. I got a Western Auto. I've got a Subaru dealership called Retro Subaru. Hope, SoCal doesn't try to sue me over the name Retro.
No, I think Eli owns it now.
Oh, yeah. That guy. But yeah, so anyway, I did this Subaru dealership. It just says Retro Subaru, and all the cars are vintage Subarus from like the 70s and 80s. I've got a SVX in there and a bunch of Brats, and it's just really cool, man. A couple legacies, and so that came out really nice. And I got Blockbuster Video, and my inability to take a decent photo is on stunning display here, because I took a lot of time to like really get the lighting right. So what I did is I went with USB, and I had months ago, almost a year ago, I bought these. It's actually like a brick, if you will, of these little keychain LEDs. So basically, it's 3 LED elements, and then 3 resistors on a PCB, and it's got a hole in it so you can put it on your keychain. And they come down to like 5 cents a piece. And the whole idea behind them is you stick them in any USB port on a PC, on a in a car, whatever, and you just get a shit ton of light. So I had a whole brick of these things, and I got a whole bunch of 6-foot USB extensions off of Amazon. And then for the base of the train, I rolled out like white felt. And I ran all these USB cables under the felt, pop up, and it goes into the building where there's this little LED panel. So basically you get, it's all LED control, because model train lighting is just awful. Like the transformers are always under capacity. The voltages are always different. I mean, they sell like the transformer outputs 6 volts. but every light known to mankind is 3 volts. I don't know how the hell they ever get a layout built. So I went ahead and just did everything in USB. But that opens up a lot of neat opportunities because there's so many little neat mechanical, electromechanical devices, lights, anything in the world you can imagine is out there for USB. So if I want to put like a little speaker in the corner, I can just, run it right off the USB hub. So most of it's just electricity. There's no data. But in some spots, I could do data. So, for example, I did a drive-in movie theater, right? So it's got the cars lined up, and they're looking at the screen. And the screen, of course, is getting its data over the USB. And so it really is a USB-based setup is much more reasonable. Got that all done. And then, what else was I going to mention? This whole damn mic thing got me all distracted, Mike. There's something else that you were talking about that I was going to mention. Oh, yeah. So the movies and all. So, there's a lot of ways to do this. I could just set up a playlist in Plex and bring Plex up on a TV, but I wanted to do something a little different. So I took a Pi and I built a little machine. It's just called Santa Box, right? And it sits on a network, and I've got VLC on it. It's plugged into my household HDMI system and into the household audio. So on that Santa Box, I put all of the great Christmas movies, everything from 8-Bit Christmas to, Bad Santa and everything in between, just the entire, all my favorites. So it's about 40 Christmas movies in there. A lot of classic stuff too, like Miracle on 34th Street and all that. And of course, I went through and I ripped. I thought I was going to have to basically convert a lot of MP3s into MP4s and add like a static image, which you can do that. But it ended up being just easier. I went to YouTube and somebody had pretty much put everything I was after onto YouTube already. So I just used a YouTube downloader and I got the MP4 video version. A lot of them are videos, But like, say, for example, the Jethro Tull Christmas album, right? Solstice Bells is available as it was from a Top of the Pops session. So I was able to get Solstice Bells, the video, but then all the other songs are just a static image of the album cover, which is all I was going to do anyway. So I don't care. I'm fine with that. I'm not going to make a music video for every song on Jethro Tull's Christmas album. It ain't going to happen. So, it was actually exactly what I would have done. So I've got on this thing, I can just bring up movie, hit play, or I can tell it to go to the loop. And when it plays the loop, it just runs through the entire folder. And just so I even set it up so when I come home, Firewalla sees that I've walked back in the house and my phone is rejoined Wi-Fi. And because it's a Linux phone, it then reconnects to my NASs. And whenever it sees that user join the NAS, it goes ahead and triggers the startup of the Santa Box. So VLC starts playing the music. So basically, by the time I get through the front door of the house, all the Christmas videos are playing all over the house when I come home. So nice little project. Worked out really well. Oh, yeah. So, okay, the 3 things I absolutely wanted to hit while we were here, I finally remembered them. SoCal resurfacing on Atari 8. I thought I'd running over there and chiming in and all that, but really, what's the point? He and I, we got a score to settle, and I'll see him sometime in person. And what's the point going over on the internet? And the man has no honor, no dignity, no sense of contrition. All he did was, from what I read on Atari Age, is he goes, "Whoops, silly me! I was a bit of a knucklehead. I was a total goofus on that one. Whoop, really got me. Sean Robinson is a bad guy." I mean, dude, there's a giant book out there that has all your dirty deeds in your own words. You got caught red-handed. You fucked over your family and friends to an extreme degree, and you're gonna pop out with, "Oh yeah, gosh darn, that's Sean." I mean, Sean was what he deserved. Sean was Sean is just nothing but an instrument of karma in that regard. But absolutely disgusting. So, yeah, whatever. I couldn't be bothered, honestly. I got too much more shit going on at this time of year. Good, fun, enjoyable things going on to be bothered with that asshole. So, I just didn't.
I felt the same. I mean, so a while ago, so somebody messaged me on Atari Age, and it was, I can't remember what it was about now, but it was a question, and I answered his question. But then he replied like a couple of weeks later, and I couldn't get back in, and I've never been able to get back in since with my accounts. You click the forgot password, I never get a link, I never get anything. So I can't get back in even if I wanted to under my original account. I just thought, what am I going to say, that's new? It's just not worth it. But I don't know if you missed it or you were otherwise engaged when I said it, but there was a great comment in the thread that made me laugh, and it was, chameleon plus money equals Amico.
Yeah, actually, I did see that comment, and that's one of the things I was, wanting to address just briefly. Yeah, so I said at the time, I'm sure you remember I said this, that had he been funded, the first thing would have hit the lawsuit. We would have hammered his ass. He would have been right then and there, strung up in court. And not that I had any interest in denying other people receiving a product. That's just not, I'm not trying to screw up anybody else getting something. But I can't let him steal our work, create another company, screw over, family and friends, to include me, and just go, well, but if I put a stop to this, people won't get their game. No, that, and they never would have anyway, I assure you. Yeah. But so the first thing that would have happened is, we had all this ready to go.
Dude, you could have given him the money yourself. Nobody would have got a game.
Yeah. But no, there was already a push button legal action ready to go. Because if he didn't get funded, there was absolutely no point, right? What are you going to take? What are you going to do, right? So had he been funded, the first thing that would have happened is the lawsuit for, forming a second company, transferring assets, misuse of the whole 9 yards, and that was not entirely his property, and that would, of course, I mean, you can imagine what that would have delved into with Retro and everything else, the magazine and, Sawyer and, all that stuff would have come up. It would have been a long, protracted court fight. And, the goals I would have accepted out of it is him, basically him eating all legal fees and then refunding the remainder of it to the people that backed it. That never happened. I mean, he would have fought it. He would have been dumb enough, and he wouldn't have even gotten an attorney. That's the great thing about it. So, yeah, he would have gotten better than half of the money taken. So he would have been sitting there with about half of the Kickstarter money, which wouldn't have been enough to do it. But that wouldn't have stopped him. So he would have gone into China and see, if you've ever dealt with Far East manufacturer and know anything about it, there's you are very careful about who you work with and who you go through. And you generally don't go through the Chinese, you go through the Taiwanese. And which of course are the actual Chinese, but that's a whole other war ago. But you would go through a lot of channels to get a reputable place that would actually deliver the product with a lot of assurances in place. SoCal Mike would have fell for the first fucking whisper in his ear, hey, I can make that product for you for that amount of money. And he would have handed over the money. And at the end of that experience, he would have been like Sharon Stone in Casino after they ran through her money and, kicked her out of the hotel room and she's crying in the hallway. And that would have been SoCal Mike. He would have lost everything that he got from that Kickstarter. And ironically, the only people that would have gotten any money out of it would have been people that actually signed on to the, Family, Friends, and Fools lawsuit. So that would have been just a hell of a show, but the show never happened, obviously. But no, he has no contrition over that. He acknowledges no wrongdoing. He's just a affable knucklehead It just happened. Yuck, 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 yuck. So, yeah, that's that. But no, more current fuck-ups. I heard you mentioned. I still haven't had a chance to listen to that show, but you covered my email to the good folks at RetroGames.biz.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that wasn't the most poignant. I didn't hit all the major talking points or ask any astute questions beyond what the fuck's wrong with you.
Yeah. And why won't you send me some shit?
Like, how do you fuck that up? I mean, I'm just astonished because, okay, you had the launch of the Vectrex Mini, and they had a plan in place. They had all the things that they had to have figured out at that point figured out. And when you asked them direct pointed questions, they had direct answers because they knew what the hell they were doing. So, the launch comes about. They've shown off real work. They're ready to go. Beyond a working prototype, they had prototypes that, you could get your hands on in public venues. There's no trickery. And they go out there. The Kickstarter just slays it. I mean, over 10 times what they were even asked for. Some 4,000 or 5,000 units purchased. I mean, just nuts. Total success, right? And they're already, okay, right, off we go to make this thing. And they're busy doing it. Unless some unbelievable circumstance collides into this thing, it's getting shipped. And if it's prototype quality, that will be sufficient. I think that'll be just fine. So I'm fine with that. And then because I had on my wall calendar Vectrex launch, and then just a couple days down the chain I had Amiga launch, right? And they haven't made it necessarily the easiest over the years. Like when they launched, the mini C64, I was like, okay, great, I'll buy one, but come on, where's the Maxi, right? And then when the Maxi appeared, it just kind of showed up in U.S. Amazon, and it was from a company you never really heard of. They never answered the email of like, is this a legit company that has stock from you, or is this just a company that's listing it and hoping to get stock? And then no response, no nothing. And then of course they do the Amiga Mini, and I bought that through the same vendor on Amazon. It shows up, okay, great. And then we're all waiting for the Amiga Max. And of just all the buffoonery and crab-ass games and total failures in getting that thing out the door, which was just unbelievable. Finally, they're going to release it, right? And they themselves, so, okay, here's the launch date. Stay tuned. And we did. And normally when there's a launch date and there's going to be, maybe a certain number of, early editions or maybe a limited production. Because remember, they had said absolutely nothing. They had not said that we're going to see how many pre-orders are getting and manufacture that many, which is seldom how that's done. That's how we did it for some stuff. But, for them, typically it's done like, okay, we're going to make 500 and see how many we can fulfill. And that's what they do, because that's the price point they got from that manufacturer. So that day comes around, that night, midnight hits, and you never know because there has been zero communication. Zero. No updates on the website, nothing. So that day hits, and it's okay. Maybe they meant midnight in the U.S., not midnight in Europe. Well, maybe they meant 9 a.m. Fuck, who knows? And I start looking around, and I see on various forums, all people are like, "Well, I'm sitting here clicking refresh, and nothing's happening. There's no announcements, no emails," and the whole day just goes by. And I guess at some point, word got back to them on their launch day. People were lined up, ready to order. And they were like, "Yeah, we're not there. We're not. What
are you doing over there?"
Yeah.
Silly.
So finally, they address on Facebook, not on their actual website, where everybody has access, but on Facebook, where only some people have access. And they posted like, "Well, we heard that some of our vendors might be selling them early today. And gosh, we don't know. What are you asking us for?" And then later in the week, they open up a pre-order on their website, right? and say, okay, hey, pre-order's done. We've done our job. You can order it directly from us. And then they answered the question, yes, we're going to take orders, have that number manufactured, so everybody who pre-orders is going to get one. I thought, sounds great. Let me go check. Nothing listed on Amazon in the U.S. Nothing listed anywhere in the U.S. You know, the country where Commodore is fucking from, you Muppets. That place. So I go to their website, and I'm like, okay, fuck it. I don't care. I like their here's the thing. I like their products, and they deliver a good workable product. I know it's going to work because they already made it in the form of the A500 Mini. So all they really have to do is make that keyboard driver live and then push it out the door. That's all they did with the C64, and it works beautifully. So they have this pre-order on their website, and I go through the process, and I hit like place order. It goes, yeah, we don't ship there. I'm like, you don't ship. You don't ship. You're taking pre-orders on your website, and you don't ship to the United fucking States of America, where the goddamn system was born at. And I was just completely exacerbated by that shit. I mean, how do you fuck up? I mean, you're literally producing the Amiga Mini. Everybody bought it. Great system. You're finally, after years to prepare for this, years, you're finally ready to launch the Amiga Maxi. And you literally shove your head up your ass and wonder where the echo sound's coming from. How do you do that? Mike, how do you fuck that up that bad?
I really don't know. I mean, I really don't. I don't get it. If it was the first product and they were Irish, then you could understand it. But no, it's dumb fuckery. I really don't know. Maybe there's a new guy in charge.
Dude, I started looking for Ely somewhere or SoCal somewhere on that thing. No, I mean, honestly, if I saw them, if they went to Blackpool next year and they were there, I would have to walk right up to them and go, hey, guys, I wonder every one of your problems. Why are you the dumbest cocksuckers on the planet? I mean, that would have to be the question. How do you fuck this up so completely, you know? Yeah, damn shame, man. I was very disappointed in that. But thanks to Mike here, he's got one ordered. It'll show up in the UK. He'll throw it in a box. He'll show it to the US. And then I'm guessing about a week later, they'll show up on Amazon in the US. And somehow they'll fuck that up too.
Maybe. We'll find out. So there's a few people in chat there. If you're in chat, let us know what you are expecting for Christmas, if anything, what you've asked for. I don't usually really tend to ask for things. There's not much that, I suddenly need at the end of the year that I've not probably already bought myself throughout the year. So, I just ask for, or take us out for a dinner one night or something, or, do whatever. Just something small that the grandkids can, give to me and watch me open, that kind of thing. But this year I did ask for the Atari decanter and 2 glasses. We'll see if that turns up or not. And also, Atari did a beer glass as well. I think I posted them both in Discord. Well, we've seen the decanter on news a couple of times, but the beer glass is kind of neat too, so I did ask for that. It's only a tenner, so maybe that'll be something the grandkids wrap for me. I don't know, but let us know what you are expecting in chat while we delight you with some news items. Speaking of which, and speaking of consoles that are doomed to fail, Gareth Hamer sent one here. The Clean Sheet open source 8-bit gaming console. Surprisingly preparing for launch in 2025. This uses twin 6502 processors instead of FPGAs or microcontrollers. But it's not aimed at emulation. It's it's similar size and shape by the look of it to a US SNES. And it's definitely 8-bit, but it's not emulation. It's nothing like that. It's aimed at, where was the phrase? It is hoping to... I've lost the phrase now because I scrolled down. It's hoping to drive the next generation of 8-bit games. So I'm not sure when that next generation of 8-bit games is coming, or if this is the right platform for it. But it seems an unusual thing to launch in this particular way.
I'm so confused by and conflicted by this. Okay, so the 6502 was the backbone of the Commodore 64, the Atari 2600, so many systems. I mean, the Nintendo, so many systems used the 6502. But Chuck Peddle said himself, if we were trying to build a microprocessor for a computer, we never would have designed this way in a million years. Never. And that's for a reason. The 6502, despite being the brain of some of the greatest systems, wasn't the best choice. There's so many other better choice chips out there. Okay, but you're going to do two of them. So I'm guessing one is running game code and the other one's doing video and sound, maybe?
Possibly. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, okay, I didn't know if you had seen more about that than I did. But,
no. There's very little information on the page, so it doesn't go into that kind of detail. But all we know is it's got twin 6502s to inspire the next generation of 8-bit games. So, I mean, I wish them luck. Don't like to see anybody fail, but it's an odd product.
Okay, so they've got a W65 2S running audio, 32 kilobytes of RAM, and 512 kilobytes for graphics. Okay, I guess they're going to hold a lot of sprites in that. Oh yeah, sprite RAM. Okay. Yeah. If they come out with some good games for this, yeah. But what it looks like a very down market Nintendo knockoff, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It looks like does. No. I mean, like I hate to go after, but I hate to come down negative on this. But when I look at this, what I see is zero thought of industrial design, and it looks just like any Tenmu or AliExpress Nintendo knockoff generic system ever sold. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's more there to the architecture. Maybe it really catches on. Maybe it becomes a popular system, and I'm buying one and enjoying it. I will not rule that out. But right now, I'm just not sure what or why they're doing. So, got one here from Peter Gibbs. And it says, first learn stand, then learn fly. Natural rule, Daniel-san, not mine. So it says here, Taito will pay you $650 to find the origin of its technology. So we believe it's quietly living on somewhere in Japan. So Taito, one of the video games industry, of course, okay. The item in question is the Crown 602 Crane game. So 60 years ago, in 1965, Taito made a Crane game. Okay, and it's in like imagine a pinball without the back glass, kind of size cabinet. And let's see here. We believe it's living somewhere in Japan. So I guess they've lost track and don't have an example of their own. Taito has only photos and partial blueprints relating to the machine. So they're offering a 10,000 yen machine for 10,000 yen for information on the whereabouts of the machine. So I guess they're going to try and buy it back, or maybe pull a Nintendo and sue the person that's owned it for the last 50 years.
Yeah. You're hoarding our technology, son.
Taito, don't be a Nintendo. We'll see.
It's interesting that they want it back. I mean, is it for a museum? Do they plan to use it? I mean, I don't know. If they have kept an active patent on it, maybe, then you would expect them to still have an idea of what it is. So, I don't know. It's curious why they want it back and what they're going to do with it. Not like we haven't got other Crane games.
Nintendo, I got, pardon me. And speaking of Nintendo being Nintendo, I've got a Nintendo news item here, submitted by Michael James. So third-party Switch 2 docks reportedly no longer compatible after Nintendo's latest console update. I mean, it's not unheard of in the history of hardware, especially anything Apple, for accessories to stop working. And Apple especially, I think, was kind of vindictive about this, where they'd let a company, invest significant money into making, say, an alarm clock. And then other companies start making alarm clocks. And Apple goes, hey, we should make an alarm clock base for that thing because a lot of people like that. Okay, let's brick the competition.
Yeah.
So they go out there and do, potentially, a software update. Intended, I'm guessing, to disable third-party devices. If not intended, that was certainly the effect. I'm sure they'd never say it was intended. They'd probably say something like, oh, just non-compliant hardware is not our obligation or priority to keep running. We're interested in the security and user experience of our users. Or some corporate statement to that.
We're doing it for you.
Because we love you. And, so it looks like Nintendo has done an update and third-party Switch 2 docks stopped working. Doesn't surprise me. I'm safe from this, Mike, as I do not own a Switch 2.
I'm safe from it as well, because I don't own a Switch 1 or a Switch 2.
Well, my Switch 1 is over there under about a 16th inch of dust.
My newest console is now, well, aside from the Steam Deck, which is not, well, it's kind of mainstream, but not one of the big three you would think of. I think it's the Wii U. It was the PS3, and I sold it. So, yeah, my newest console is the Wii U. Yeah. I don't think any of this shit's going to affect me. Something else that won't affect me is from Gareth Hamer, who said a hardware hacker has installed a Minecraft server on a light bulb. Well, of course they have. Why did it take them so long? So yeah, it's one of those dumb light bulbs you never want to purchase and plug into your house because it's obviously got some CPU and RAM going on to recognize when it should switch on and switch off because your Alexa tells it to or whatever. So there's obviously some processing going on board, and somebody has got a albeit small, but a working Minecraft server on a light bulb. Jiminy Cricket is all I can say.
I don't need my light bulb to have a processor. I don't need it to have Wi-Fi. It's just not a requirement I have whatsoever for my light bulbs.
How are you with filaments and contacts? Would they be okay?
I'm okay with filaments. I'm also okay with silicon junctions, LEDs. I'm really cool with that. But beyond that, nah. I don't think I need a processor for that. So, got one here from the random one, and it's Nintendo releases first official screenshots from Zelda movie. Okay, let's see. Well, it looks like kind of an odd mixture of Lord of the Rings and Sheffield. So,
it has got the Ring of Sheffield about it.
Yeah, Princess Zelda kind of makes sense there. She looks like she could do it. The Link guy, I don't know, man. Does that look like Link? It doesn't look like Link to me.
I mean, there's so many different versions of Link, but does he look like a hero? Not so much. I don't know the actor. He may be a great actor. I don't know. He's not ringing hero to me at the moment, so I don't know. I am looking forward to it.
Play Jeffrey Baratheon or whatever.
Yeah. I am looking forward to it, but yeah.
Give him a chance to salvage his career back. Dude, I tell you what, man. Sometimes you can play a villain too well. It turns out the guy is apparently a super good guy,
Yeah.
But he was just a little too good at that role, and just became hateable.
He
so,
was an evil fucker in that role.
God, man.
Super.
Hopefully his royalties are. I kind of feel bad about that now. Like I feel bad for the guy. Like he's got a wife and a kid and everything. He's an actor, but he was so damn good at it. He tanked his own career.
Yeah. He's praying for spin-offs. Alan Hedgerus in chat says he doesn't ask for much for Christmas, but he did this year for the Tragically Hips, your favourites on vinyl. Oh, Tragically Hip, I remember them. Wow, that's an old band. On vinyl, and a griddle he can use on the barbecue. We all like a griddle, especially for cooking meat. Meat. The challenges of selling retro games. This is the video. Will it be muted when I click on it? I usually have this browser
It's
muted.
not.
Yes, it is.
Well, it wasn't for me.
The harsh reality of selling classic games for modern consoles. It is a 24-minute video. I haven't watched it. You can watch it at your leisure. What does the description say? Now more than ever, publishers are looking at their old IP and seeing what they can remake, remaster, and emulate for modern consoles. And Sony has been releasing PS1, PS2, and PSP classics on PS5 with PlayStation Plus Premium. So that's essentially what it is about. Might be an interesting watch, actually. I should say, while we're talking about PlayStation in particular. So I modded a PS3 at the museum last week, I think it was. And just that we can use like on a retro game night, dump a load of games on there. So we're not swapping consoles. We can easily connect up some controllers to it. Get some multiplayer games on HDMI on the big screen going or whatever. What a fucking awful console. I never liked it when it was new. I stopped playing games on it and only used it for watching F1 until that didn't work anymore. But just the menus, I hate the PlayStation menu. Like they're going side to side and up and down the items, and even when you mod it, it's the same menu structure. You're going up and down, side to side. And where was that again? Oh, it's under there where you least expect it to be. It's just a fucking awful console, even modded. I'm so glad I sold mine. Just hated it. Hated it. I don't know if the 4 and 5 are any better, any different, any worse. I don't know. But, yeah, just hated the PS3.
Well, Mike, here's something that won't make you any happier. So, from Charlie here, Hewlett-Packard and Dell disable HEVC support on their laptop CPUs. Now, I had to think a minute, what the hell are they talking about, HEVC? And it turns out it's the name that I'm familiar in seeing it is this H.265. So H.265 video codec, my satellite receiver for KU band uses it a lot. It's a super common standard, right? And it says owners of some Dell laptops are also experiencing this, as well as HP. As the OEM has also disabled HEVC hardware decoding on some of its laptops. Now, the question I have, was this pre or post-purchase? I mean, that would be some crooked shit. It's the exact kind of thing they're doing now, but it says...
well, if it's built in the CPUs, would it have to be pre-purchase or not?
You would think, but I wouldn't put because if there's a fuse in there, because a lot of stuff is done by fuses, and some of those fuses can be burned, on a manufactured rig, and some of them can be burned in the field. So if they burn that fuse and disable that, module, it's done. But it says here the most easily identifiable information comes from the support page that explains Dell laptops only support HEVC content streaming on computer configurations with an optional discrete graphics card, an optional add-on graphics card, integrated 4K display panel, Dolby Vision, or CyberLink Blu-ray player. But if the CPU supports it, they disable it. Let's see here. HEVC video playback is available on Dell's premium systems and in select standard models equipped. So basically, if you buy a very expensive laptop, by comparison, that has a video card built in. Let's see here. While their reps didn't explain the company's motives, no, they never do, and certainly not be honest about it. It's possible that OEMs are looking to minimize costs, since OEMs pay some or all the licensing fees. So you're going to sell, something that has HDMI on it, you got to pay an HDMI licensing fee. So what are you going to do? Sell something with HDMI that the HDMI doesn't work to save money? This is next level fuckery.
So I just wonder with the bigger picture. So my experience with HEVC and HEIC is from Apple products. So if Paula and I go on a holiday somewhere, we'll both take pictures on our phones. Then she sends me her pictures, and they're always HEIC, and I have to convert them. So I just wonder if it's HP and Dell. Maybe Apple licensed that. Do Apple own HEVC and HEIC and license it, and HP and Dell are now saying we're not paying that? I don't know if it's an anti-Apple thing, but that's my only experience of those codecs, so not 100% sure. Some dumb fuckery going on, though. I mean, it's a video. Play the video.
Yeah. Just fucking work.
Dear. One from David Gyrick there. That was the Atari beer glass I mentioned before, so that will appear in the show notes. Nice looking beer glass. PlayStation before PlayStation was ready, according to Peter Gibbs. A random selection of games this guy doesn't want to play anymore, he says. And it's one of those lists. 10 classic PS1 games that are unplayable today. Unplayable, or you just don't like them, like Peter says. Resident Evil Director's Cut, not unplayable. DDR PS1 can't compete with the arcade experience. Well, no shit, but I mean it never could when it was current. So, Gran Turismo will cause memory cards to crash. If you keep saving and saving, you'll fill up your memory card. Okay. Let's have a scroll down to some more stupid ones.
So RC Stunt Copter is designed to mimic real RC helicopter controls. Okay. Since RC Stunt Copter is designed specifically for the PS1's dual analog controller, it doesn't offer much support for the dual shock model. So you have to use the right controller. Gah!
There's another. Densha to Go has been derailed with time. This is a series of games, Japanese, where you're playing a train driver, and you drive the train. You have to stop it in the right place in the station, and you have to get there on time, and all of this. I think there's games on the Game Boy Color and lots of Japanese only releases.
Oh, dude, there are
standalone
controllers.
Yes. Yeah. Proper train controls
built in that just do that.
Yeah. So, yes, I agree with Peter. Random selection of games this guy doesn't want to play anymore. Kind of sums it up.
And let's face it, RC Stunt Chopper was never a viable game anyway. It was always just a piece of shovelware.
What has the random one sent us? Officially sanctioned fan remake of Time Splitters. For those that don't know, this was the spiritual successor to GoldenEye and Perfect Dark. I've never played Time Splitters, but I was at an event. Did they have a tournament on it, or was it just some people playing it in the room? Time Splitters 1 and 2, I think, were both running next to each other. Does look a very interesting game, and I said to myself I should give this a go. It's on the list. It's a long list, but it's on it. So, yeah. A fan remake. Get it while it lasts.
Well, speaking of fan remakes and other oddities, no, you're not dreaming. Gareth Hamer would like to know you're not dreaming. Here's Spyro the Dragon on the N64. So, Frog Bull, the homebrew maverick behind Metal Gear Solid and Crash Bandicoot on Sega Saturn, has done Spyro the Gyro, Spyro the Dragon on the N64. Sure. And I was like, but what's the purpose? And he says, well, it doesn't serve much purpose. Okay.
Oh, that was the lack of purpose.
Oh, you know what, dude? Every one of these exercises helps figure out, a little bit more about these systems. And I think a lot of this work is ultimately going to lay the groundwork for, years from now. Dude, when we're looking at either a PlayStation or a Xbox app that does nothing but remote play, and there's no accessible game code, and you'll play what we want you to play, when we want you to play it, the way we want you to play it, and then we're going to take it away. And there's no new content coming out that I'm willing to embrace. I got a feeling that there's going to be some really spectacular stuff coming out for these older systems, and a lot of these people screwing around and doing stuff like putting Spyro on N64 are going to be the guys creating it. So go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it. Do your tech demos. Do what you got to do, because you'll be the game makers of our future.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought. It really is. I mean, I know we all know our thoughts on the digital marketplace and things like that, but I'm not buying a new console, and I'm not buying a new console to play new games. I don't want to, and I know the inherent risks of me picking up something like Hogwarts Legacy for free on Epic. Okay, I might not be able to play it in 10 years. I'm not going to. I'm going to play it once, and I got it for free. So, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to play it on the Steam Deck. That's fine. The Tomb Raider 1 to 3 and 4 to 6 remasters, I think combined they cost me less than a tenner. And for the DLC alone, I think that's worth it. If I can't play it again in 10 years, so that's fine. I don't care. But I'm not going out buying, full price things on, download only marketplaces. But like Scott says, even if all these marketplaces do disappear and your games disappear and what have you, people will still be out there making games. It is a fact. And you will be able to download them, pick them up, buy them, whatever. There will be games out there.
Well, Mike, you should definitely take a look at this next one here by Peter Gibbs called Plumber's Crack.
Oh, I did see that when it came in. I thought, what's that about? Yeah. The Picross story. And if I could get rid of those pop-ups. Yes, I did read this as it came in. And just for info, Smarty Martin has popped into chat there. And Scott, that is the guy you were chatting to in Discord about his Smarty Pie for the Sega Cabs.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That is it's amazing how some of these solutions and all just don't come across your radar. And, I've got a spare, Power Drift board. I've got a spare Outrun board. Now, the Power Drift board, when I acquired it, wasn't working. So I repaired it, so I have a hot spare. But, there's a lifespan on this stuff that I'm starting to accept more and more. I mean, you'll be able to find a working Power Drift board for, quite some time. But sooner or later, one of those custom ICs is going to take a dump. And you can be able to identify which IC it is. That doesn't mean you can get one. So as the market becomes more and more chasing after these parts, what if I just want to play the game, So I'm willing to accept, a solution like this is just spot on, but it's funny how some of these solutions are out there that you didn't even know they were out there, despite the fact you're looking at this stuff all day. So I was thoroughly delighted to find out that was a thing. That's absolutely brilliant. So very much looking forward to it. So
yeah, and something I want to talk about in a minute. I'll message you first about it. But just this story you mentioned. Nintendo from Plumber's Crack, Peter Gibbs. Nintendo sent a crack team of unimaginably talented developers, including Shigeru Miyamoto, to the Mario Picross studio to personally teach the plumbers aura. So basically, this studio were making the Mario's Picross game, and Nintendo didn't want them to fuck it up. The last paragraph in this story kind of maybe suggests just why they did that. It says, The Legend of Zelda CDI games and Mario Was Missing were released just before Mario's Picross began development, so Nintendo might have learned a few lessons on third-party oversight for its biggest series. So yeah, a couple of turds came out, and Nintendo handed Picross to this studio and sent the boys over to... Now, this is how a Mario game should look. This is how slick and seamless a Mario game should be. Do not fuck it up. And the good news is they did not fuck it up.
I still can't see it as a Mario game, though. Just because it has a picture of Mario doesn't mean it's Mario.
Yeah, it could have been anyone. I mean, Mario Paint the same. It could have been anyone's paint.
Paint the taint. Totally agree. So, got one here from the Rando, and it is Submarine Attack for the Amiga and Mega Drive. So, Submarine Attack, an update of the arcade classic depth charge game for the Amiga 1200 and Sega Mega Drive. So, if you have one of these, this could be for you.
It could indeed. I've sent you a message there, Scott.
Alrighty.
What's this one? A designer in Singapore created a functional SNES inside a wearable Nike sneaker. That's trainer to us. From Gareth Hamer. And again, lots of pop-ups. Thank you. So he's plugging in a composite video lead into a shoe for some reason. The shoe was created using a Raspberry Pi Zero W running the RetroPie emulator, which Bonzanini customized to fit inside the sneaker's tongue. The shoe has battery capacity for up to 30 minutes of gameplay and sports an integrated HDMI port. Well, I mean, it's got to be easier than shoving a game console in your pocket, has it? Just put your shoe on and and your game console's right there. Yeah.
But it's just it's just a it's just a Pi Zero running RetroPie. You could take the cover, you could take the guts out of a Zippo lighter, stick this in, close the top, and go, look, I've got one in a Zippo lighter. Yeah, you could do it with a banana peel. There's no end to things that you could put a Pi Zero into. That you could take a pack of Marlboro cigarettes and put it in there, and I just don't see what the notoriety is.
Yeah. Crazy. It's like the world we live in. What's that meme? It's like something about reading books, and now I can charge my electronic cigarette from my sofa or something like that. I mentioned last month about Gareth being called Gaz, so we don't mix him up with Gareth Hamer. And Gareth Hamer replied in Discord. He said, "Paddy Gaz here." Sadly, not this hunk of a monster that Miner 2049er thinks I could be, and little taller than a hunchback hobbit, just plain old UK average 5'9". But now you've said that there would be little chance of Paddy Gaz and Welsh Gaz being in the same room together, I feel like it's my destiny to make this happen now. So we're going to get a meeting of Gazes at some point. We'll have a Gaz off.
Gas Fest.
Gas Fest. Yeah. Which reminds me, is it Play Blackpool tickets are up for sale already? They launched this last week. They've announced the dates, and it's the usual first weekend of October. I think the dates are the 3rd and 4th. But like,
all right,
dude, we've just got back from the last one. Fuck.
No, that's how you do it, man. That is how you do it. As soon as you get that deal locked in with a hotel, you let people know that thing is coming so they don't make other plans.
Yeah.
Or like delay the press release for like a month trying to bury the expo. That could be another thing.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you don't want to do that.
No. I replied to you again, by the way.
Okay, let me check again.
One from Peter Gibbs, Fresh Blood. And we talked about Blood, the game, or the FPS from the 90s. It was in a top 10. Random picked it quite recently. A game we knew but hadn't really explored. And they are remaking it. It's coming to consoles for the first time ever. Obviously, a PC game in its first iteration. And it's going to be called Blood Fresh Supply. Oh no, Blood Fresh Supply Remaster arrived in 2019. Are they doing another then? Blood Refresh Supply Remasters. Ah, okay. So this is a remaster of a remake, which is coming to Steam at some point. December 4th. Oh, it's already out then. PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X1X, Xbox X1 Box X, and Nintendo Switch, and a Switch 2 version in the works. So basically everywhere.
Right.
So, just I was at Arcade Club the other night, as I said, Scott. Just taking a little break from news, by the way. And I was thinking, how do you attract people to your arcade machine? And I was looking. I was thinking like something outlandish, like Computer Space, the cab. Very attractive cab. It's an eye catcher, especially with the sparkle finish in those 3 colours, etc. And I was just wondering. Now it may be you do know, it may be you don't know, and it's beyond the scope of a hardware flashback or whatever. But I'd really like to know, because it's not got ROMs, it's discrete logic. But how does it work? Is there like a layman's way? And I don't want you to do it now. It could be a future segment, whatever. But is there a layman's way of explaining how Computer Space works?
Yeah, for sure. And we could do it right now because it's not that big of an explanation.
Okay.
So a game is logic, right? So you have like an X, a Y position, right? So you can do all that in hardware. There's no reason that you can't do that in hardware. And then let's say, for example, you want to do collision. So if you have a spaceship and a shot, and you have X is whatever value, and X on the shot. So you've got the target. Let's say the target and the shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you simply have an and state, like in programming, you would have an and statement, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if the position of the bullet and the position of the target are the same, then increment score by 1, play the death animation, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
They're just doing all that in hardware. So it's a literal AND gate. So an AND gate is a gate on an IC that you have 2 inputs and output. If one input is high, but the other one's not, nothing happens at the output.
Mm-hmm.
If both of them are high, the output goes high, right? So meaning 5 volts. So 5 volts plus 0 volts equals nothing out. 5 volts means 5 volts out on both inputs, right?
Yeah.
Then you have OR gates. So if you, and we use this, it's called a truth table in logic, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have like, ones, right? And zeros. So on an AND gate, the input has to be 1 and 1 to get, a 1 out, right?
Yeah.
So an OR gate could be either input could be true, and then your output is true. So 1 on either input gets you a 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's all kinds of, there's just a whole family of logic gates. But what they did, because it was too expensive and too unworkable to have a computer that would execute code, is they literally just designed the equivalent of code in hardware, which is funny because software is actually mimicking hardware functions in many of those mathematical cases. So, but no, we could do a much longer discussion of it. But it was a necessity because there was no way to they just couldn't afford at the time. There was no way to do this on computer hardware. So they had to do it, when I say do it on computer hardware, there's no way to do it with the cost of a fully functional general purpose digital computer. So they had to do it through hardware, actual hardware.
Yeah. I'd be interested to know, understand a bit of the graphic display as well. You know how, because they were they playing with the vertical sync or something like that to.
Well, Mike, I sure as fuck wish I had working camera right now, because in front of me here, right here, is a stack of papers.
I can hear it.
Yeah, you can hear it. Is a stack of papers that are computer space, because I just keep this shit around here. Because I'm referencing it from time to time. So I'm going to send you a picture real quick, Mike, and you can share it in chat or something like that.
Okay.
That actually explains a lot about this. Let me see. I'm going to take picture number 1. Star Sync. The motion. Oh, and then the most important one, Michael. I wish I could just hold these up to the camera right now and have a little
Well, that's
chat.
all I'm going to do.
All right.
Yeah, I'll just and I understand the concept, obviously, of the hardware versus software, and in the book I was, and when if you see Steve Wozniak give a talk, he talks about seeing the game Pong, which was obviously again done in hardware. And he wrote a version of Pong in software. And for him, that was his light bulb moment. He thought, this is where everything changes. I can now do this in software. Let's go, kind of thing. That was his light bulb moment, converting Pong to software. So what's the best way to show this to the good viewers? I don't know how well it'll come out, but we'll see. Let's go to the high-res camera with no green screen, and we'll see what it makes of that. Can I hold it still enough? Probably not. I will post these images in chat, though. Not in chat, sorry, in the show notes.
So, Mike, if you see, I sent you a couple of pieces of paper, and you see one that says, like, motion board.
Let me zoom in and find it. Motion, yes.
Another one says Star Sync.
Says what, sorry?
Star
Sync. Yeah.
That's my handwritten notes in the upper corner.
Okay.
And then the third board that you see is the memory board, right?
Yeah.
So when they architected this thing, they designed it onto 3 boards, right? And each board, generally speaking, has a function, right? So Star and Sync generates the star field and generates the synchronization of the game. It's sort of the master logic, right?
Yeah.
Then if you look at motion board is basically what does keeping track of the position of 3 elements. Your shot, your rocket, and the saucer.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it does. And then that third one, Mike, the memory board, take a look at that one. And you see how there is a number of shapes in the upper, well, I guess it depends on how you look at this.
Top right,
so if you hold it in your hands so that the connector card edge is on the left side.
Yeah.
All right. So you see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 larger ICs.
Mm-hmm.
And above them, or next to one of them, you'll see some shapes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those shapes are the bits. So each one of those represents a diode, right? So what they did to actually to make troubleshooting a little more accessible is they actually put diodes in the shape of the bits that they're creating. So each one of these diodes represents a dot in the graphics that make up
the rocket ship.
The items, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you see what's going on there, you'll see the UFO, you'll see the star cloud, and you'll see the rocket in a number of different orientations, right?
Yeah.
So they would basically strobe that chip and using the sync board. And so that chip was strobed at the right moment, it would produce a dot on the screen at that point in the scan.
Right.
And that's how you actually got a rocket-shaped rocket. And if a dot, like let's say one of the dots is missing out of the rocket, you know exactly which diode is bad.
Yeah, yeah.
So what they did, if you think of a very simple ROM chip that would contain maybe just a couple of bytes, that's it. This is a ROM chip built with diodes and a decoder. So instead of storing the graphical image of the rocket on the ROM chip, they actually put it in physical diodes through a decoder. And then there's all sorts of other chips on here that kind of mingle the functions of the StarSync and the motion board. But yeah, these schematics here, you have to pore over for a long damn time, as well as a lot of Dabney's notes on the side, before you really have a clue of understanding how this game works. And even then, it's not exactly the most user-friendly thing to understand or repair ever.
Yeah. So I don't know if while you're looking at that, you move further away from the microphone, or if there's some other issue creeping in, but you did go quiet.
How's this?
That's better. So the reason I'm asking about computer space, I've been reading a lot about it this last couple of weeks. Someone sent in a news item. It is a video. I'm trying to look for it now. Somebody in Canada found like an almost perfect two-player. The two-player was only ever in green. They found, oh, there it is, from Thomas Sylvester. New in-box computer space. It's a YouTube video. You can jump to 16 minutes 45 seconds in that video, and they show you the game. They talk about it a little bit. I've commented on the video because they kind of conflated a couple of stories. They said like, oh yeah, they put it on test and the coin box was full and they had to go and fix it and empty the coin box. So I'm like, okay, you may be conflating a couple of things there, but basically correct. So that sparked that. And also the website computerspacefan.com, which we talked about before on the show, is looking for a new home. So perhaps it will find a new home at some point soon. Hope so, because it's a useful resource. So,
well, Mike, so what I said, we could be general about it. I mean, like we can explain what's going on.
Okay.
We just don't have the finished. We can't be fully finished.
No.
Like we can't give the fully finished result.
No.
But by all means, delve into any other detail that we can discuss.
Okay, so yes, was it Scott mentioned it a couple of months ago? I think that the website computerspacefan.com was going away, and if you go to that URL right now, depending when you're listening to this, there is a notice on there that the website is going away, and so we reached out to them.
I stop by there, every now and then, right?
Yeah.
Just to see, because like when people find games, they submit it to Computer Space Fan. Then he goes in and he puts up, hey, serial number 8912 has been found. And so if you go there and you look at the list of machines, you'll see my game in there. And so basically what it is, it's a by serial number registry of known surviving computer spaces. So that is a cool thing. So in some cases you might find out there's one in some museum near you. But it also lets us know definitively how many are surviving. It fills in the serial number pattern and gives us a better, idea about production numbers. So basically, it's just a whole lot of useful is what it is.
It's the best resource on the internet for computer space machines.
Oh, by far, yeah.
And yours is on there. The one you repaired for John, Joe, and Sean is on there. The Matt Householders is on there, who I think his interview was last month, actually, wasn't it? So you got to hear him, seeing 4 in a line at a place and only buying one and regretting it ever since. So it's just a great resource for computer space. So we reached out to him and offered him a new home, and that is in the works at the moment. We can't give you the finished result as it stands, but it is in progress. The site's had an overhaul, and it will be migrated, and it will live on. You can still reach out to that original email and or contact via the new site and register, a new serial number and information about it, etc. But it was just too valuable a resource to lose and let go away just because, reasons. So we have offered it a new home, and we'll provide that new home, and we'll give you more information as and when it comes. The upshot of it is I want a fucking computer space.
You should get one. Well, you should have also got one years ago when they were more achievable.
Yeah. And it's not for the game. I have played the game. I've got the simulator on my MAME cab. It's not a fantastic game, but a beautiful fucking machine, man. And part of the history and kind of entwined for a little while with the show and all of that. What a machine. It just looks fucking fantastic.
Well, it is, Mike. Honestly, we're closer than ever to being able to achieve that. Things that have never before been possible are now happening. So it's actually a very exciting time for computer space. Things that just seemed like they were never going to happen. The dam's breaking. Things are happening, right? So just to kind of tag on what Mike was saying there, yeah, I stopped by the website just, seeing, because like every now and then you'll go by there and you'll see some new link to some new thing that was found. And it's like, oh shit, that's cool. And you never know what's going to kind of appear next. So I was stopping by there one day and it said, hey, this website is shutting down, summer of next year. And I thought, oh no, that's terrible. And, a lot of times with these things, well, as Mike said, reasons, and there's been more than a few projects like, say, I don't know, Classic Gaming Expo, where you reach out to the owner that can no longer maintain it, and you're like, hey, man, we can run with this thing and we can keep this thing alive. And in many, many cases, they're like, nah, don't want to do it. And it's a damn shame. And it just dies, So, we reached out to this guy. And we're like, hey, and I've talked to him many, many times over the years. Anytime like some cool computer space stuff has come up, certainly we gave him the heads up on the Ted Dabney interview before anybody else knew.
He actually did his own transcript and sent it to us.
Yeah, and he had asked, hey, can I host this? We're like, fuck yeah, you can. So he's always been a very reasonable, rational person to deal with. So we just reached out and said, hey, man, we can take care of this for you. We can run this thing. And he's like, well, how do we do that? Because, he's not a web, like he started this, as an as like a little side project, right? And it has, it's got legs, but he just, it became more of a thing to keep up with, And I said, you know what? What's that line out of whatever fucking movie that was, where it's like, we have a Hulk. I'm like, well, we have a UK Mike. So, Mike jumped into the chat and was like, yeah, man, so here's what we do. We do this. And then Mike's just handling it, So we don't know exactly the form it's going to take. Like, if it's going to be computerspacefan.com redirects to that page on our site, ideally. But there's still details that are being sorted out. Just the details. I mean, there's zero drama to it. It's just, we got to sort out the details. So we don't know exactly sure what date it's going to happen. But we've had the discussion. We're moving forward, and it's going to happen, I think. So we'll let you know once it's up and running, and it'll be a valuable resource for computer space owners and fans. Now, just a couple things on computer space stuff. So that video that was linked, I never heard of these guys before, the Pinball Shenanigans, but all of a sudden they just I started seeing their stuff all over YouTube. And so they'll unbox unopened arcade machines from all sorts of, and pinball machines from all sorts of sources. and sometimes it's pretty cool stuff. Like they unboxed this one cocktail cabinet pinball game. Now it's one that I've seen before, but not like physical. Like it's one of those things you see a flyer of it, and you go on like IPDB or whatever. There's literally no fucking pictures of it at all as a finished unit, as an actual real life unit. And these guys are like, all right, so we got the box cutters, and we're gonna cut this open, and they do, and like the flyers taped on it, the voltage selections taped to it, and the thing it looks like it was made yesterday.
What
so
game is
obviously
it?
they're getting these things, from warehouses of operators that somehow still had these things in their warehouses. I can't imagine having something in a warehouse for 40, 50 years and not really being that aware of it or ever wanting to. How did you not cut that thing open back in the 80s? I don't know. But it's a thing. So anyway, they do good videos.
What game is the pinball cocktail?
I don't remember off the top of my head, Mike.
Right.
If you go to Pinball Shenanigans channel and start going through it, I'm sure. I mean, it's got to be listed in there because it's their video.
Yeah.
But they have done so many videos, and it wouldn't surprise me after just maybe 3 weeks ago I saw these guys. After all the stuff I've seen them unboxing, that they've got a computer space sitting there, not surprising. So one thing about the computer space is the two-player version has an additional PCB that basically manages substituting the in-game logic with the actual physical input of a second player. So it's a very similar board set, but it does have an additional board, and it is architected a little differently. So there's a whole, I've long since forgotten every detail, but there's a lot out there on how, another employee at Nutting came along and created the two-player version after Ted and Nolan had already departed, the company to go on to do Pong. So that was not, the two-player was not a Ted and Nolan creation. It was its own thing. So, but Mike, obviously one path is to just go ahead and part with the money and buy yourself a computer space from somebody else that owns a computer space, and now you got a computer space. So the second option, and we're there, we can get this done, is to go ahead and build one. So what's available right now is the actual files for getting those PCBs made, for getting the card cage bent, and I would honestly say, like, if you find a non-working computer space with just like, say, an empty cabinet, this is going to be your option. Because over the years, I think I've seen for sure one, maybe it was two, computer space board sets for sale on eBay. And they went for as much as a game does.
Yeah.
So either way, whether you find a cabinet and populate it, or if you're building, all from scratch, so basically if you don't buy just a working computer space, I think that's kind of your move. So, but Mike, we're in a spot now where you can absolutely get those PCBs made, and there's a full bill of materials. Some of those ICs, man, I would start looking now, because you're going to be looking for a long time for some of those ICs. But there's no code that, like, you don't have to burn any EEPROMs. You're literally just installing, ICs.
Yeah.
Now, welcome
everything.
to the
so dumb question
welcome to
then.
the fresh hell that's going to come about when you realize that not all 7404s are compatible with all 7404s, and the troubleshooting of trying to get a set of fresh constructed computer space boards is going to be a special kind of hell. But it can be done, and of course now you can actually, print the cabinet in segments. And if you took the time, what I would do is print the cabinet in segments, use that as a buck, to make a mold, do it in proper fiberglass, and do a proper finish. It's not going to be a cheap project. It's going to cost you almost as much to make one as it is to buy one. But you're going to be able to make one a fuck of a lot faster. You're going to be able to find one for sale.
Oh yeah. Sure. So I'm weighing up I've no room here. My arcade is full. so much so that I can't work on one of the machines that I want to finish. So it's not an immediate project, but so I've got the STLs and things if I wanted to print one, and I'm weighing up mentally during my wakeful moments in the night. Do I want to go the manufactured PCB route? I'm happy with a simulator on a PC that boots straight to it. So I'm weighing up those questions. The other thing is, what color would I want? And I mean, they all look great, but you know what? I kind of like the prototype white. I really like the white one. I mean, if it wasn't white, it would be yellow, I think. And I know how I've seen the one you restored for CGE. I've seen yours, and how deep, that kind of, you look into the paintwork and it's like a well finished car, On a car, there's like 20 layers of paint. You look into the depth of that paint and you get lost in the paint. But I think the white's kind of sexy.
Yeah, it's funny that you phrase it that way, because that's exactly how I explain it to people, is that it's one of the nastiest damn things you'll ever paint.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's like painting the hood of like a mid-70s Corvette. When they had those really convoluted curves and just, compound angles and all that. So the way the original was done is it was done with what's called a gel coat, where basically the finish is in the mold and all that. That's not a possibility, once it's a done item and all.
Mm-hmm.
So what I had to do is basically paint it like it was a Corvette hood. So, basically I had to go in and take it down to, bare resin and fiber and, get all the material off there, lay up layers of primer and, fill in all the pinholes and just basically build a usable surface. And then use a PPG epoxy primer over that, more sanding, and basically build it up to a smooth, slick surface, right?
Yeah.
Then I had to paint it with semi-gloss black, right? Once that's on there, you spray on a clear coat,
mm-hmm.
and then you spray on clear coat with a metal flake embedded in it. Now, the metal flake is blue. There's actually no blue paint anywhere in the Blue Computer space.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're spraying is a metal flake paint that has metal flake in the paint, right? Now, this represents a real unfun challenge, because the nozzle size has to be a certain size to allow the metal flake to pass through without clogging up, right? So mixing it, first of all, is a special kind of nightmare. So you've got to get this stuff really mixed, exactly the right viscosity, so the metal flake stays suspended in the paint, right? You got to get the paint in the gun, have the gun just calibrated, just right, and you've got to start laying this stuff up, right? Now, what you can't do is you can't lay it on so that you get like runs or pooling or
mm-hmm.
spalling. Like, you've got to lay it on there. It's the most delicate of paints to lay down. But instead of coming out of there as like a perfectly formed, mist cone, you're basically fire hosing the shit on. So it demands the most delicate of applications, but you're starting with the least delicate of gun configurations. It's just horrible stuff to work with. Mm. So once you're done with all that, now if you get too much on, or you start, piling, you'll get a texture, because the actual metal flake will form a texture, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what you had to do is lay in this metal flake in just a perfectly delivered layer of plenty of liquid, not too much metal, and then, but of course, not too little, because you don't want too many layers of clear, because you can't sand this stuff the same way, because if you do, you take away the blue of the metal flake.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's its own fresh hell. So once you're done with all that, you have to put more clear over that. And so the blue of any of the metal flake computer spaces, what you're looking at, on a repainted one, is you're looking at the blue is all in the metal flake. It's actually blue metal flake over black. So it's just a special kind of nightmare. But any shop, and there are shops in the UK that do car restorations, like there are shops there that could repaint a Corvette and do a competent job. So the great thing is once you have that fiberglass shape, right? Once you've made that, you could take it to any automotive refinisher and go, you guys are the best place in the UK to do Corvettes. Can you paint a Corvette hood? And they're like, yeah, sure. Okay, pretend this is a Corvette hood. It's going to be the same challenge. Have a nice day. And hope they don't tell you to go fuck off because it's not a car part.
Yeah. But it makes you wonder then why they chose that method in the 70s to make an arcade machine. You know, why go to all that trouble? Because I'm guessing it was the same process back in the 70s.
Exactly. No, so it was. They did not do a metal flake layup and all that, right?
Okay.
If it would save us a lot of time, and you would get a more quality explanation if you just go to YouTube and look at like a video of fiberglass production of what's called gel coat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually a very easy process in the in production. So they used to do like fishing boats, all sorts of things in fiberglass, hot tubs. They were all done with gel coat finish. So basically, you've got this ultra smooth mold, right? You apply the outer finish, and then you apply the structure. So the structure is going in, over the. It's a hard thing to explain, but if you look at how it's done, basically at an industrial place, like let's say they're making hot tubs, right?
Mm-hmm.
It takes,
Which they were.
So, yeah, exactly. It takes, 2 workers, some time. So they do like step 1, they move to the next mold, they do step 2, and they just keep going, right? Mm-hmm. So in a production environment, making a computer space cab was not that big of a deal. Okay. And it was actually a very easy thing because they did the wood back and the wood bottom. Mm-hmm. So it's probably a 2 or 3 piece mold. Yeah. And so they just split the molds apart, and there's the cab. They would flock in. So basically you take resin and chopped up bits of fiberglass, and you brush that into the corners. It hardens. Mm-hmm. That captures the wood, and then you start slapping in your electronics and all that. So it was actually it was less trouble in some ways than going with the all wood cabinet. So right. It wasn't a production challenge. It's a son of a bitch to fix later, Yeah. It's like okay, the first time you blow up a balloon, right? You take the balloon out, you blow up the air, you tie a knot, it floats away, right? Mm-hmm. The balloon popped. Now put it back together and refill it perfectly.
Yeah. So, on the inside, it looks like it's almost got like 2 spurs built into the inside of the cab to support the monitor. How is the monitor actually supported in there?
All right, so there is yeah, that's kind of a good way to describe it, I guess. So the inside of the cab looks nothing like the outside. Mm-hmm. It's where they use what's called a chop gun. So they have this mixture. It's a slurry of chopped up fiberglass and
one might almost describe it as rough as fuck.
Yeah, it is. So you basically are spraying it against a smooth mold. Yeah. So the outside of it's perfectly smooth. But what you see is rough as hell. So, like, when you open up a computer space cab, on the inside, you've got these, like, if you run your hand across it, it's taking off skin. You've got glass fibers sticking up out of it everywhere, little curlicues of fiberglass that just kind of kicked up. It's not a smoother. You could not finish that surface. It's unfinishable.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there's just 2 little rails in there. The monitor slides onto it, and everything is just, like I said, the bottom and the back, all that's just, they pre-cut the wood to the shape of the cabinet, lay it in place, and then just take, probably they didn't take a bucket. They probably just took the chop gun and just shot it around the edge. And then that resin hardens about 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. And now that wood is bonded into the cabinet. Same thing with the little supports for the monitor. It's no different. All that stuff is super easy to replicate.
Right. So okay. So it's not that easy to separate the wood and the fiberglass later. Then it's kind of all bonded.
Yeah, it would be. It kind of does separate on its own in a way, in that like most of the computer
That's
spaces.
what we call damp.
Well, most of the computer spaces I've restored, what has happened is just the mechanical banging around is it's kind of a surface bond, right? Like the resin kind of it dries in 30 minutes, right? It hardens.
Mm.
So it's not like it's leaching into the wood layers and layers deep and grabbing the wood. It kind of dries on the surface, but it's like it's probably a polyester resin, right? So it's like a liquefied polyester that turns into a solid, right?
Mm-hmm.
So because it's not really soaking in, and you don't have a lot of what's called mechanical tooth. So like have they gone through and drilled like say hundreds of holes like 1/8 inch or 1/16 inch so that the resin flowed into those and then hardened, you would destroy the wood trying to rip it out.
Right.
But most of the computer spaces I've restored, what's happened is just from being bumped around and dropped and handled, the wood starts to kind of separate from the resin, you know.
Yeah.
So in a couple cases, like I literally had to, the bottom just came out, right, and it was also had water damage. So all I did is I cut a new bottom, pressed like literally laid it into the groove where it came from. It was a perfect bed.
Yeah.
It was literally as if you had just removed a piece of wood, right? Because it rotted away.
Mm-hmm.
So I used like a wire brush wheel, ran it in an arc, and that would basically whiz out any of the rotted wood and get down to a fresh layer of resin. And then I, brushed in fresh layers of resin, pressed in the new wood floor, that cured, and it's bonded in there.
Mm.
Now, it's not like a boat where like how like a boat you might have like a wood transom in the rear where the motor goes.
Yeah.
And it's very carefully bedded and bonded into the rest of the fiberglass hull.
Yeah.
This isn't a fucking boat. Your life doesn't depend on it. They just glued it in there, good enough to stay, right?
Yeah.
So I'm basically on that topic, Mike. The best advice I can give you is don't overthink it. You're gonna make like, let's say you're doing this, and I sent you a pattern. So I literally took a piece of cardboard, laid it out on the bottom of my game, traced it, so it's a 1-to-1. Because this was cut on a jigsaw, probably with lines drawn with a Sharpie. Okay, This is not sophisticated manufacturing. So you can literally take your jigsaw, cut along the edges. It doesn't matter if there's an 1/8 inch gap, a 1/16 inch gap, a 1/4 inch gap. It doesn't matter. That's getting pumped full of resin anyway, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's really not that complicated.
Yeah. I could talk about this shit all night. I've got all nostalgic this last couple of weeks, just going through all this shit, different people's experiences of computer space and all of that, just looking through it. It's a fascinating topic. It really is. It's incredible machine, incredible looking piece of history, and just, amazing.
Well, I got to check back into Aussie Arcade and see if anything else has gone on. I probably haven't looked at it in almost a year because there was like a lot of progress for a while, then things kind of mushed out.
Yeah, I think they had a more, so there's a couple of STLs out there. The one from the RMC in the UK, but they kind of made theirs from taking videos and photos and things like that. But the Aussie Arcade seems to be the more accurately proportional STL. So that's
because what they did is they scanned one.
Yes, yeah.
So when you scan one with a 3D scanner, you get a perfect image of you get a perfectly proportioned model of the original.
Yeah.
When you eyeball one and copy it, you get one that looks like it had too many Twinkies.
You do. Like the cop in Die Hard, which is a Christmas movie, by the way.
I watched it last night.
I give
Absolutely
you the FBI.
Fucking brilliant. Actually, I saw an interview with the guy that played Gruber.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, so I hadn't
Alan
been
Rickman.
acting all that long, and I was way over my head on this one. and I just knew they were going to fire me because I'd seen other movies where guys got replaced, and I figured I had maybe 1 or 2 days on set before they came up and said, "Look, it's not working out. We're bringing in another guy for your role. Have a nice day." And he felt like he was doing everything wrong, and he was talking about the drop of, like, when he falls off Nakatomi Plaza, that they were like, "Okay, we're gonna go on 3, 1, drop the fucker," and down he went,
Yeah.
And what a great story, But yeah, he was the guy for that, man. He was the perfect villain for that.
Yeah. Who better to play a European origin villain than a British actor?
Is he British?
He is, Alan Rickman, yeah.
Yeah. Didn't know. No, I thought he did really good as the Sheriff of Nottingham, too, in Robin Hood. An otherwise awful movie, and he somehow pulled that off. But
yeah.
Is he still working? Is he passed away?
I think he passed away a few years ago. Let me look. Alan Rickman. It's in the last 5 years, I would say, at a guess. Let's have a look. Oh, no, 2016. Wow. Age 69.
I kind of vaguely remember hearing that.
Yeah, I knew he was dead. I didn't realize it was that long ago. Yeah. Yeah, many a good film he's done. So, yeah, welcome to festive computer space talk.
Well, Michael, for sanity's sake, it might not be the worst thing ever just to buy a computer space. I mean, even if it's going to be pinball money.
That's what I was going to ask you. So if let's say I made a modern PCB equivalent, like for like, or whatever, the modern equivalent is.
That's what it is.
Is that more reliable than an original computer space board? Other than dry joints and things like that, are the components any more reliable now? Is there any difference between the two?
No, 7400 series logic is 7400 series logic. The biggest thing you're going to run into is compatibilities of various chips, like for certain versions of the chip. Newer, like you'll tend to find, because when computer space was made, that was just, I forget what year 7400 series logic was introduced, but let's say it was introduced in 69. This was, excuse me, this was made in 71. So it's not like it had been out for a tremendously long time, right? So today, like, you're going to find, like, say, a 7404, 7406, and you're going to find there's going to be 50 fucking revisions of it, right? So in some applications, it might work fine. In other applications, the newer ones aren't going to sync and act right with the older ones. You run into this actually with Pong a bit, in that, like, okay, the 7404 SC, so you're looking for a 7404, which was the original chip made in the factory back in the day, right? And you're going to find 7404 SCR, 7404 CT412-alpha. You're going to find a 20-digit character with 7404 somewhere in that string, right? Some of them may work, some of them may not work in your application. Right. But no, I mean, once done, it's just a PCB. It's just through the whole 7400 series logic. There's no difference, at all. So
yeah. So just a quick search says 7400 series was throughout the 60s and 70s. I'm struggling to find an exact date on a quick search, but 60s. Yeah, and that kind of explains, I guess, in some way, our interview with Al Alcorn, where he says he was building POM boards and he had something like a 17% failure rate, I think. Almost 1 in 5 failure rate on a board, just because some chip didn't work properly or whatever, or wasn't compatible or whatever. And so he would have to fix that. And then, one of the ways it corrupted, built a maze and gave them the game gotcha. So it was unreliable back then. It's not a modern thing.
Yeah, kinda. He certainly had a much easier time of it then. But you will, and the main thing is what you're going to be doing is you're going to be looking for answers like, okay, 7404 SCT is what are the changes in that chip versus the 7400, right? And now, if you have a computer space on hand, one of the easier things is to have that chip socketed, and you know, a perfectly working computer space, you swap in that one chip, and if everything works, then you know that chip is okay compatible. Then you can put it in your clone.
Yeah.
If you have no original and you're doing this in the blind, I would say just a good example of this is you go to the Aussie Arcade where people were building their first board sets, and it's like, yeah, so I put it all together, and boy, I'm in for some troubleshooting. It's either going to be a multi-month, if not multi-year, project to get a replica up and going. Yes, it can be done. We've never been in a better place to get this done, and or you buy one from somebody. I think the cost is going to be comparable. So,
yeah,
because by the time you get a cabinet made to do it properly, not some shit slapped together 3D print that's literally distorting in the sun, but to do it right, I think your expenditure is going to be about the same to buy one versus make one.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad we're in a spot to make one because it means there'll be more of them in the world. And it's only going to get easier to make them. It really will. It'll just get easier and easier to make one. So.
I had another question. And yes, we know you've sent news in, but we're kind of on a computer space tip at the moment. Although, was this question about Pong? I can't remember now. So is Pong a similar story, just like discrete logic throughout, and a similar problem with chips, etc.?
It's actually so the funny thing about Pong, so Pong came a year later, and so when Al was brought into Syzygy into Atari, and he was told, here, play around the video motion circuit and see what you can figure out. Take a look at this, right? And what Al did is he created Pong as a much simpler game. The whole discussion, the legendary discussions about we want something the guy in the bar with the beer can play.
Yeah.
And if you look at a Pong PCB, right? It is. I would highly encourage you just to pull up a picture of that, on the web. It's one PCB, right? So computer space was about 100 ICs per PCB, and there were either 3 or 4 PCBs, depending on whether it was a 1-player or 2-player, right? So 300 or 400 ICs to make up the game. Pong had about 100 ICs on one PCB. So Pong is 1/3 as complex. Some gross generalities here, but generally speaking, Pong is 1/3 as complex as computer space. So you still suffer like when I've had to repair my Pong over the years, you go up, you drop in a quarter, and the game doesn't start. You're like, okay, drop in another one. Shit. All right, what's going on? So you start going through and you find, okay, it's this 7406, right? So, I got 7406 here, right? And they sell them on, DigiKey, right? Well, neither of those two worked. So I decided there's a 7406 from a TRS-80, video board that I had laying around, and it works perfectly, right? The other thing you're going to be up against is sourcing chips.
So why was that? Just slightly different evolution of the same chip?
Yep.
Yeah.
And even though they made it better, it was better in a way that didn't play well with the worst one that came before it, right?
Don't you just love
Didn't have
better?
enough slop. It was too precise, right?
Mm.
So that's a thing. But the other thing you're up against is, let's say you go on, and there is a demand for a lot of these older chips, right? So you go on eBay and you find, oh, hey, look, there's a shit ton of these 7412s, right? Well, those aren't 7412s. Those are just, any, 14-pin dip that they sanded the fucking top off of and applied the letters. So, no part of this, every part of this is compounded in complexity by the problems that come with finding actual real chips, finding the ones that are compatible, not necessarily knowing whether or not they will be till you try them, but not having a working test rig to test against. Not insurmountable. People have now made reproduction bore sets. Just a son of a bitch to do. So, I don't know, in the interest of a lot of things, I'd say just buy one if that's an option, and you'll be a lot happier to and don't worry, it's going to break. You'll learn how to, you'll get in there.
Oh, yeah, it's going to break. So is yours largely socketed or not?
I'm probably about a third socketed.
Mm-hmm.
Every time IC has failed, I obviously, socket it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm probably around a third sockets.
Same with Pong or not?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, anytime I have to replace an IC on a game,
Mm-hmm.
I always use a socket, because now it becomes seconds to change out a chip later. Especially some chips are, failure prone in the application they're used in, right? So, but yeah, I would say my Pong probably has maybe 10% socketed ICs. Now keep in mind, some of these ICs didn't necessarily fail per se, but it came down to, okay, it's this IC or that IC, but you can't really test it in circuit. You got to pull it out to put it in the tester. So if I'm doing that shit, I'm putting the socket in, so I'll put it back into a socket, Yeah, a little bit of that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think we might have room for
a couple of news stories and then get out of here. But the good news, Scott, I know you've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for it most of the year, but Karl Klitschke made it. So thank you, Karl. We are graced with your presence. That's what we've been waiting for all night. He said he finally made it, and yes, he did. So
I didn't know that was going to be a thing, but yet here we are, Mike.
Here we are. Thank your Lord, whoever that may be, that Karl Klitschke made it. Did he send a news item?
I was a little nervous about,
Thank
the whole
Lord.
computer space fan, site transfer, and all that, but him showing up.
Yeah. A whole new ball game. Whole new ball of wax.
Whole different ball of wax.
Yeah. So one from Irish Gaz, Paddy Gaz, is an enthusiastic modder has created the smallest ever PlayStation using genuine chips for console's 31st anniversary. That's a lot of words. The guy shrunk down a PS1 and made a PS1. It's an article on Tom's Hardware. And yes, he has done pretty much what I just said. The article is not a huge write-up, but there is, I believe, a video. So thank you, Paddy Gaz, for that.
Paddy Gaz. So, one here that I'm kind of surprised to see, but I'm surprised to see it now after all this time, but I thought it would happen a long time ago, but I was wrong. So anyway, lots of mixed feelings on it. And what I'm talking about here is one sent in by Chris, and it is Arcade 1-Up shutting down. And it has a link, and it says, a lot of people are happy about this, but I'm not one of them. These cheaper machines were a lot of people's introductions to the hobby. I got a few of them and modded them. Very easy to mod for the most part, right? And I agree. I'm not happy about this. So somebody posted a link to a screenshot of their phone of text I can't read. And then just the comments start of, well, buy then, and fuck off with your crap. And other people, hey, I hate to see them go away. They really did something neat for some people. Next comment: these things have destroyed the market for real '80s equipment. So some people are happy, some people aren't. But
I don't know why anyone would be happy. Don't get
because
it.
it doesn't pass their purity test, Michael.
Oh, it's not a real machine? What?
Yes, the purity test that they alone pass and set, personally to their standards, so that they pass every time. They've never failed their own purity test,
No,
Michael.
no.
Not even once. But no, I
They could
look,
pass
when
a
this thing
virginity
came
test.
out, they actually I think the company, it was like 2017 or 2018 when they first appeared, right? So, I walked in the store and there they had Pac-Man, like a 3/4 size Pac-Man. And I mean, what do you think it's going to be? It's going to be an LCD. It's going to be running an emulation of the game on some kind of basic hardware. The controls are not going to be arcade quality buttons. Not so much because of the cost, just because, the manufacturing time. The individual button is neither here nor there. It's the manufacturing. It takes a hell of a lot more labor cost to install, a joystick and buttons and cable everything up than it does to have an all-in-one unit that just, has one PCB with all the contacts. They built these things to be cheap to manufacture. So when I first saw one, I looked it over, and I wasn't mad at it. I just thought, okay, you know what? This is going to be kind of a cool project. It's going to probably sell a good number of units, and then a year later, the company's kind of going to be done, right? And then they came out the next year with more titles. And then the year after that, more titles. And I think maybe they were actually kind of helped by COVID in a way, because people were like, well, hey, maybe I have arcade game at home now. And, some people really got into this. Now, I got to remember sometimes, I got to remind myself, not everybody is ready to go off the cliff, up to their necks, balls deep, over the fucking waterfall, into everything in the world, right? And, there were lots of,
That's a good way
YouTube
to describe it.
Huh?
That's a good way to describe it.
Yeah, I mean, not everybody's going to acquire 100% arcade games, original arcade machines, learn how to repair them, and fill their entire house with it to the exclusion of furniture. Not everybody is that guy. I'm that guy. But not everybody's that guy. So, there are a lot of people, though, that were really happy with this. And you know what? If they're happy with it, why the fuck are you so mad at them? And that's what a lot of the attitude is, you got a guy who, he maybe, let's say he's a 90s kid. He was, 7 years old playing Ninja Turtles in the arcade, and he has, some kind of memory of it. He's not going to go to arcade auction. He doesn't know anything about electronics. The guy has no clue about electronics, right? He's an insurance salesman for Geico, okay? Or he's a welder for, whatever. That's not his. He doesn't know electronics. He doesn't want to know electronics. He wants to play some Ninja Turtles, right? So he goes to the store, he plunks down some bucks, and then he's doing a YouTube video of like, hey guys, check out my game room. I've got Ninja Turtles. He is so freaking happy, man. Why are you so mad at the guy? Well, it's not original hardware, and it's this, that, and the other.
It's not a CRT, man.
The guy's having a great time. I've got a Ninja Turtle. It's right around the corner from the studio, Michael. I could open the door, reach out a hand, and touch it. It's there.
I've seen
I
it.
love
I've touched it myself.
Damn right you did. But and no one can resist touching it once they see it. But that is my thing. That maybe is many of our listeners' things. But yeah, okay. No, the arcade one-up isn't the same thing. It's just not. But that dude making that video about the day he brought home his own Ninja Turtles machine, he just got fired up, right? So now maybe he's going to go, maybe search some Facebook groups. He's probably not going to join the back end of Atari Age or something like that.
Yeah.
He's going to find some Facebook group, and there's going to be a little arcade thing. And maybe he goes, and gets more involved in it. Maybe he discovers, oh, maybe I could own original machines. Or maybe just having that Ninja Turtles is happy enough to scratch the itch. He's happy with it. Just let the guy be happy, But I honestly thought that company would be one successful season and gone. And they hung the 8 years, and they did quite a few games. And I ended up owning one, and it wasn't like the best thing ever. It was one that had like Major Havoc and some others. I picked it up for nothing, on like Craigslist. Stuck it together, took it apart, saved the screen, didn't want to give up the space, but I've got basically the logic of it, Maybe I'll do something with it, maybe not, I don't know. But I'm not mad they exist, so what? It's not original. Who cares?
Yeah.
But yeah, looks like they are done. They are shutting down. It's over, and many people are gloriously happy, and I think that's just kind of short-sighted because, it's kind of like the AC Cobra thing, right? There's only so many AC Cobras in the world. It's a rare and elite club to have one. But you can get a replica that is just as good. The performance is there. It's fantastic. And you can enjoy that experience that would otherwise be unattainable. And then here comes somebody, that's not an original built by Carroll Shelby. It should be burned. You should be burned in it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there is, though, or was clearly a market for it. I wasn't necessarily in it, but anyone it brings into the hobby or gives them that sense of their childhood back. However, it's degrees of how deep you want to go into it. Do you want to buy an original and fix it and start looking up PCBs and schematics and stuff and fix it, or do you want to buy a one-up and maybe, if it doesn't work one time, switch it off and switch it on again? It's by degree, but it's all part of the same hobby, and I'm kind of sad to see them go away. I was never going to buy one. I know people who have. I know people who enjoy them. I know people who've modded them, and they're a great thing, and it's kind of sad that they are no longer going to be a thing.
Yeah, I think they made an honest effort. They made a real product. It did work. It's not my thing, but it helped people get into the hobby. It made people happy. I'm not mad it exists.
No, there was no pretense. It was like, we make this stuff. You can buy it. It's a 3/4 size or whatever. If you don't want it, don't buy it. If you want a big one, we've got a step you can stand on. They were kind of like up front right from the get-go. Just like, we make this stuff. If you want it, buy it. If you don't, move on. Someone else who makes stuff, and if you don't like it, you can move on, is a certain British band. One might call them a breakthrough band. The British IBM. Have you heard of them? We certainly have. They've got a new song out and a new video. Their song is called BBS, and the video is available now. The link will be in the show notes. It's a great video, and Adi from the British IBM, friend of the show, learned how to decorate and how to paste up 70s wallpaper just for the video. It's a good tune. It's a good video. You should check it out. You should buy the album. Hey, why not buy all the albums? Why not buy all the albums for the retro music lover that you love in your life for this Christmas? They've got at least, I don't know, 27 albums out by now. You should buy them all for your partner. But yeah, it is a good video. It's called BBS. The link will be in the show notes. I may even play a small clip of it towards the end of the news. You never know.
And, Shady 80 and Shady 80 and his merry band of shysters has never made a bad album.
As we refer to them.
Never made a bad album. Never done a bad song.
Exactly. One here from Gareth Hamer, and this is going to drag on and maybe on and maybe on. So Netflix are looking to buy Warner Brothers, and then other people got in on the bandwagon and are looking to buy Warner Brothers. I'm thinking of putting a bid in myself, but I don't think it's going to get very far. Everyone's trying to buy Warner Brothers. Keep the good stuff, ditch the bad stuff. Watch this space. I don't know. That was sent in by Gareth Hamer. He says Warner Brothers are the creators of Batman Arkham and Mortal Kombat. And many other things, and many other bad things as well. So, watch this space. It's a developing story.
Alrighty. I think, Mike, that's the last one I had pegged to do here.
Okay, let me have just a quick scroll down, see if there's any we really needed to hit.
Oh, there is one. There is one that I wanted to touch on our way out.
Okay, let me just have a quick scroll down then, see. I noticed we got a new Patreon subscriber, and that was, maybe he doesn't want to be known. He says from Phoenix Z80. He will know who that is. And he sent us a story, as well as subscribing on Patreon. Everyone can do that. And the story is on Time Extension. It is This Is the End. The man behind the infamous Super Sega console, who can't park a car to save his life, finally admits defeat.
It's a very difficult car to park, right?
It is. That is a reasonable point. There is a decent-sized write-up there that our new subscriber sent us. I won't name him just in case, but thank you for that.
Damn it, Justin, you named him.
Yeah. Sorry, Justin. Gosh darn. Anything else I really want to hit before? I don't think so. The Quick Shot 2 is coming back, sent by Peter Gibbs and Dave Lanke. Other than that, Scott has one to take us out.
All right, so Retro Bright. There's been a lot of articles and a lot of faffing about and opinions flying on this one lately. I need to do a hardware flashback segment on it. The one for this month is going to be about laptop stuff, but next month I will fit into Retro Bright stuff. I think it's much ado about nothing, and the inability to understand that plastic is not a long-term survivable component. Some plastics will age better than others, right? I'll go into all this in detail, but all right, some of the early plastics were not thermoplastics, right? In a sense, like a thermoplastic is what we use like in 3D printing. It's a plastic that can be melted, shoved into a space, and when it cools, it hardens, right? Not every plastic was like that. Some of the earliest plastics is, so Mike, I know you guys love rape over in the UK. You know, rapeseed?
Oh, we're big fans. Big fans of rape. Yeah. We got
Fields
gangs.
of rapists. You got gangs. You know what? You actually have gangs that do nothing but travel around and visit farmers' fields. They're called rape gangs. If you're in the UK, you should read up on these things.
And if you want to lift home afterwards, they can find you an Uber driver. It's great. It's a good system.
But a comparable seed of similar utility was linseed, right? So linseed was used for many things. In the U.S., I imagine it was used in the U.K., Mike. Maybe have you ever heard?
I have. Linseed oil?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you press out that oil, but then you do funny things like you mix it with formaldehyde and heat it, you get like a very bad chemical reaction. All sorts of bad things happen. But what you get out of it is a usable plastic, right? So, have you ever, in the UK, Mike, were linoleum floors ever a thing?
Oh, Jesus, they still are. People take pride in. Yeah, we call it lino, just for the record.
Yeah. Right. So
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was a.
I've had several myself.
For a long time, linoleum floor, but that's made from. It's a similar. So let's say instead of making a flooring, you make a radio case, right? So that's the very similar idea, right?
Now wait, you're going to connect my kitchen floor to rape? I want to hear this.
Well, yeah. No, actually, the point is that, linseed is a utility seed that makes kind of like rapeseed. It's used for, production of oil for various things. So one of the original plastics was made using linseed oil and formaldehyde to get this plastic out of it, right? So, some of those radios, and that product is called Bakelite, right? So you can have a backlight radio from 1922, and you can pick it up, and it feels like, the plastic is hard and smooth, and it's in unbelievable condition. You could have another one from 1952 that maybe it was stored, better than the other one. Just dumb luck of the draw. It's decomposing. So, you look at it and the case just falls apart. You try and take a screw out, the boss twists off, and you hear this tink, 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 tink sound, and it just comes in half, it falls apart, okay? So at some point, any handling or whatever, you might have a backlight radio in a museum that's under a light in a case that is going to, be okay for a while. But the point being is, plastics, even modern thermoplastics, right? These things are, there are plastic chemists. And you know what? If we've got a listener who's actually a chemist specializing in plastics, I'd love to have you on to do a much better than the cursory understanding of it that I have, I would love to speak to an actual plastics chemist. And let them maybe, bring them on, have a little back and forth with them about this. But, modern thermoplastics like, ABS and, polylactic acid, all these, well-known thermoplastics. You heat them up, you push them into a mold, or you extrude them in the case of 3D printing, and then you've got, your item, right? So in 1978, Atari had plastic shells made for the 2600, right? 1987, Nintendo is whizzing NESs out the door and it's plastic, right? So there's a trillion and one variables. Was it exposed to UV light? Wasn't it? Was it, what was the air? It was, what is the air quality around it? Off-gassing from styrofoam. Was it in the bag? Was it not? There are so many factors, just factor after factor after factor that can influence how that plastic ages, right? And right now, I'm looking at two Nintendos I have that look brand new. I'm looking at one Super Nintendo that looks brand new. I'm looking at one Super Nintendo that has a purplish top and a light gray bottom. So one half of the shell aged completely differently than the other half of the shell. There are clearly different batches made from different supplies, right? And the exact chemistry variations of why one would break down first than the other, I'm not the expert to comment on that, but it is a thing. However, that said, there's no magic in that you can't perfectly do, say, an ABS shell that isn't going to age. Plastic has a lifespan. It's going to age. It's going to become brittle. It's going to fail, right? Now, it will happen sooner than later on some, but, on others, there's no predicting, there's no preventing it, right? So all plastic is dying, right? So what they're finding is now they look at Retrobrite. There's more of a curiosity. And this is, in all fairness, this was said back when Retrobrite came along, of, this could be damaging to plastic, or it chemically alters the plastic. Of course it does. You're getting a chemical reaction. That's how you're getting this sudden color change, right? So my view on it is this. all of these consoles have a lifespan. The plastic shells have a lifespan. These plastic shells will eventually start to crumble, split, crack, discolor, and that's because they were never designed to be eternity products. They were designed to get out the door on a shelf. And it's not that they said, well, these are only going to last 40 years before discoloration, and about 60 years they'll start crumbling. Are we really going to put this product out there on the shelf to sell to children that they're going to use for 2 years?
Yep.
If it lasts, 50 and not 500 years? What are your expectations? What do you want? So I think what's going to happen is this. For some rare systems, it may be a while, but we're going to get to a point where there's going to be STL for everything. 3D printing is evolving rapidly. It will continue to evolve. And, will it be 5 years, Mike? Will it be 15 years? I don't know exactly. But before too long, you will be able to take your phone, take a series of pictures of, like, say, a Nintendo, the shell, feed it into your computer, and spit out of a 3D printer a perfect one-to-one insane copy of that shell.
I have got news for you, Mr. Schreiber. So,
what'd you do?
In the mill where the museum is, the computer museum, across the corridor is a company called 3D 360. And what they do, it's a government sort of funded scheme. If you have an employee in your company who would benefit from 3D design and 3D print skills, you send them on a course to this company. They teach you a 5-day course in 3D design and print. They, at the end of it, give you a 3D printer to take back to your company, and you can take your company into the future by designing and printing in 3D. Anyway, this company, I speak to the guys who run this aspect of the company. It's a national company, but they run our sort of local entity of it. So what they have is now it may come to Android. I don't know. It at some point it will be ubiquitous. It was then when I was talking to them an iPhone app. They had a drone. They attached an iPhone to it. They sent it up in the sky and filmed sent the drone round in 360 around a local monument, took that footage and ran it through some sort of app or whatever, and that generated an STL. They could then recreate that monument from an STL. So iPhone scanning, 3D printing of an object, you just simply move your phone around the object, take pictures from various angles. It will then generate an STL. You can 3D print that. That's already here. They've been doing it for probably a year. It may be on Android by now, but that technology is already here. You can 3D scan using a phone.
Oh, yeah. I mean, absolutely. There are a number of phone-based scanners out there. There are tons of... And it's kept me from buying one is the constant, incessantly moving goalpost of these things.
Yeah.
So, like...
Well, it's like anything technology. You buy it now, and next week it's free, and it's 10 times better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just have not been able... Because I have maybe like 1 or 2 use cases for a 3D scanner. And I'm always looking at it like, yeah, but 5 years ago, they were 8,000 and did this. Now it's 800 and it does way more. In a couple, it's just the relentless, unending march forward of progress in that. But what I'm talking about is the fine details, like, say scanning the Nintendo case half and getting like the exact diameter of the pin and all the shapes of the supporting structure for the door. You can't. Yeah. That's a little rougher,
Mm-hmm.
But it's coming, right? So at some point, we're going to be recasing these games. It's going to happen. Some people will still have like, hey, in 70 years, they'll be the lucky one that their Sega Dreamcast still looks new, while most of them have fallen apart, right?
Mm.
But plastic is not despite the talk of forever plastics, plastic isn't a forever thing.
You know what I'm thinking though? Like the Segas of the world, who molded most of their stuff in black, the Genesis, the Master System, etc., the 32X, the CD32. They might do better out of this than Nintendo, who went for beige.
Well, color-wise, yes. No, that's no question. The color-wise, yeah, but remember, there's discoloration, which isn't necessarily structural. It might look silly as fuck.
Yeah,
but it's not failing. The stuff we have to worry about long-term is structural, right?
Structural integrity.
Honestly, right now, if I had the choice between retrobriding and doing a paint refinish, and there's so many god awful paint refinishes out there, it's not even funny. But you can properly repaint one of these, and it's not really going to look repainted. That would probably be the better choice. But ultimately, underneath there, that plastic is still dying and will break down over time. Maybe in your lifetime, maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, I'll dive into this more. And if I can't find a chemist, well, I know some dudes I can talk to. So their specialty isn't plastics; it's other things. But they'll know, as a chemist, they'll know more about it than I do and be able to explain it more succinctly. So one way or the other, we'll deliver on this, and we'll give a deeper dive on RetroBrite and its limitations. But if you're worried that you're going to take your visually degrading Nintendo, RetroBrite, it's going to look good, but then 8 years later the yellow creeps in and it's more brittle than it was.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so now you did 20 years of damage in 10 years, but maybe it was never going to get worse, or maybe it is. Again, every one of these things, that's how you end up with, say a Super Nintendo where one half of it is yellower than fucking Jimmy Savelle's teeth, and then the other half of it is perfectly, white as the driven snow. So, good luck with that shit.
Yeah, I've never retrobrighted anything. Anything I have got that's gone that way, I've kind of let go. Not too much in the beige front, to be honest. The main thing I've suffered from is the kind of soft. I don't know what they call it, but like a soft touch on a console. Like I talked about the Gizmondo a few months ago. I'd say a few months, it might have been a year. But where they put like a soft coating on, and that perishes and becomes sticky, and then you've got to get some alcohol on there to go back to the bare plastic. So I've suffered from that. Did that with the Gizmondo. It feels better now than it ever did. Lots of plastics that are coated with this soft touch stuff will do the same thing. Just strip it back with alcohol and go back to the bare plastic. Feels much better, but never actually retrobrighted anything.
I've used it. I mean, look, we're not talking about like one of one, 12 gig hard drives here that are irreplaceable. Yeah. We're talking about a freaking Nintendo shell that was already not in great shape, I've used RetroBrite. Yes, visually aesthetically it cleans everything up. Does it fix the underlying chemistry problem? Hell no, I never thought that it did.
Yeah.
Does it make it worse? Yeah, it could accelerate aging, maybe, But again, this isn't a lifetime material,
No.
It's plastic, right?
It's plastic, yeah.
It's like things made out of wood, right? Yeah, some ships from, say, the, Khufu dynasty in Egypt that were buried in the base of a pyramid, those ships, there are portions of the beams still there left today. Most other boats from the Khufu dynasty, Mike, have not fared well in time.
They have not.
Because they're made of wood.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
And it's a few thousand years later.
Yeah, the expectation of forever materials is a bit silly.
It is.
So, yeah, like I said, we'll dig into it deeper and find a more intelligent way to to really break it down. But yeah, it's plastic, man. I'm sorry. It's oil and other nasty chemicals that have been pounded into a shape intended to, make a consumer product that was never intended to be a multi-generational, multi-century product made out of fucking plastic.
Yeah.
So sorry to disappoint you.
Yeah, we didn't realize people would love it this much. Sorry. Yeah. And so that brings us kind of to a close. We have got some news items left, and thank you for those. We will carry them over. Just reading back through the chat, we were joined by Glenn Minette with an unusual username. Thank you from Down Under to Glenn. Spinal joined us towards the end as well, as he usually does. Thank you to all those who joined us at the beginning, in the middle, at the end, who stayed, who left, who came back, who departed, whatever. And thank you for the last year of listener support. We are not planning on going away anytime soon, so at least for another year, you're probably stuck with us. We are going into year, when did we start? 2009?
9.
Whoa, we're going into year 17. Year 17. That probably, as Carlsberg might say it, probably the longest running podcast probably ever. It's weird. I was recently asked to describe our Ted Dabney interview. Was it the only podcast interview we did? Well, I don't know. I can't say that. I don't know if it was the only podcast interview, but I said we're probably the only podcast that interviewed Ted Dabney and Al Alcorn. So have done with that. But yes, we do plan on continuing. I'm sorry, but you are stuck with us for probably another year. Thank you for.
It was a really great line when one of they're on the Atari thing. They said there's so many great ones. Like there was the Fludge Mudge whatever JoJo Flow thing that said something like, "That's almost 2 hours of actual information. I can't be bothered to read that." So here's my speculation.
Yeah.
And then
yeah. Briefly touch on that. Yeah. There is somebody on Atari Age. Like we interviewed. It was particularly Eli with the Lawyers and Showers interview, and he said like, "Oh, I've not got 2 hours to listen to this. Can someone break it down for me?" And I said, "Yeah, here's a link to a guy on YouTube with a baseball cap and a webcam. Go and listen to him rather than listen to it from the horse's mouth." And the same guy, like we mentioned earlier on, like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, dropping into Atari Age again when SoCal resurfaced. This same guy is asking the same fucking dumb questions that are answered in full, in Smoke and Mirrors, in full, in our interview with Eli, in full, in our interview with Brian from the Jag Bar, and he just will not go out and listen to it. He wants someone to say, like, 2 sentences, "Here's what happened, dude." And he's like, okay, I'm cool with that. But then forgets it and asks again 10 years later. Fucking tool. Anyway.
One of my favorite ones, though, was this one guy who was like, I can't remember what the context was. I don't even remember what the interview was. But it was literally like, "Oh, here's the guy with every question I wanted answered, and it's in this podcast. It's all right there for me. Oh, but that's Retro Gaming Roundup. I'll wait till somebody else does it."
Yeah. That is the guy. Yeah.
He's dead, Jim.
Maybe he rises from the flames at some point.
No. He's died. He's decomposing. He won't be going on anybody else's show.
I want to hear what some guy with a baseball cap and a webcam thinks. Jesus.
Dude, that was that whole experience. Just somebody standing in front of their carefully staged wall of games, pontificating on something they have no direct knowledge with, and that was the superior source. Unfucking believable.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, my man.
All right.
Let's say goodbye to the listeners, and we will catch you next year.
Next year. Oh, my God. Another year. How many years can we keep going with this shit, do you think?
Well, I'd say, well, between your fitness habits and my lifestyle, one of the two of us is gonna fucking get creamed in a couple decades.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say we got another decade or two before one of us gets splattered all over something or strokes out. So yeah, fuck it, we'll keep going till death.
And just a heads up,
It's coming.
whatever happens, like ultimate respect, and we'll treat it as such. I mean, if he dies in a horrible lawnmower accident, so be it. Shouldn't have been cutting his own lawn, dickhead.
See?
And if I die in a horrible inhaling toxic gases from some household product kind of incident with a tangerine in my mouth and something inserted in my anus, so be it. I expect everything that's coming to me.
Happening.
Yeah. The chances are better than 50%. And I expect everything that is aimed at me. Anyway, until next year, on that note, thank you everybody who's joined us, who will join us, who intends to join us, who once joined us and thought, I'm not listening to that shit again. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We will see you in 2026, and, well, we'll probably keep doing the same old shit with maybe a few more twists. Who knows?
Yay, new twists.
Thank you, everybody, and good night.
Good night, everybody.